Bro, people have like the whole history like twisted because of people that came in and decided to try to change and rewrite history.
Like
So,
we signed our shares away, basically.
yeah.
Oh hey, what's up? It's FaZe Temperrr. I'm gonna show you guys my setup.
It's so weird how I didn't really process how I was feeling back then, and I would just drown myself in video games. All those emotions I was feeling that I was neglecting were feelings of abandonment.
You saw something early on that other people didn't see clearly.
You know, I always wanted to build something greater than myself, and I knew that the only way to do that is to have like-minded people.
The best FaZe member is always someone who was a huge FaZe fan.
And I was just doing everything for FaZe.
We literally almost owned 0% of the company.
Yeah.
The old CEO started gifting random people FaZe chains.
Or FaZe shares. For anybody that's wondering how to join FaZe now, it's like the best way to look at it is to try.
Hello, FaZe Temperrr.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I don't know how to start this. We're just talking about stuff we can't talk about on camera, so
You started it.
nice to see you, guy.
Yeah, it's great.
We're
to
here
see
in
you,
Dallas. We're at shout out to Preston Plays. If you see any Preston Plays stuff in the background, because we're filming in his warehouse right now. I'm gonna do an episode with him after this, but we're here for IEM Dallas. So
man. Yes, sir.
first time we've both been to a gaming event like this in years,
Yeah, I don't remember the last one.
especially COD.
Yeah.
So you know our team's about to play in the winners finals right after this. I'm sure they're gonna win. Our COD team, shout out to them, and then our CS team unfortunately didn't make it, but hey, we're having fun, honestly, and it's been really cool. Like so many people saw me at the event. They're just like, I didn't expect to see you here. I was like,
This is
that's
the
kind of
first
bad
time-
that that's like the reaction now. I should probably start showing up a little more and stuff. But we're gonna be at the major next month too.
Yep.
We'll be back in Texas.
Yeah, the Counter-Strike major is gonna go
So
crazy.
for all you esports fans out there, I think me and Tommy are gonna start trying to pull up to more events. So
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen you too.
yeah, I know you moved to Indiana, which we'll talk about. But how's that been?
Amazing. Yeah, I love it. It's like very different, but very calm. Perfect for raising a family. You know, we just wanted to be around family to raise our son. It's beautiful, bro. It honestly surpassed like all my expectations. It's more diverse than I thought, than I originally anticipated, and people are just super nice, beautiful. You know, a lot of greenery.
I think like you just kind of dropped it for people that maybe have been a little disconnected that don't know you had a son.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
shout out to our guy FaZe Cairo.
Yep.
Tommy had a son. How old is he now? He's like a year and
and a half. He's like
year and a half.
almost 19 months.
crazy.
Yeah, it's the best thing in the world.
We were
man.
talking about it yesterday when we were at the CS event. There was like two kids sitting in front of us, and I was like, imagine your son, FaZe Temperrr's son, becomes a CS pro on our CS team. I could see it happening.
Listen, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if that happened, but you know, whatever he wants to do, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if it happened.
No, because you said he watches CS with you and stuff. So I'm
Bro,
like, hey, he
yeah,
could be one of those cracked little kids soon.
I'm always watching CS, so like he's, you know, secondhand watching this stuff, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He's gonna be crazy.
Crazy, you know, you recruited me to FaZe. We're gonna get into all of this, but like I've known you since 2011. I was a fan of yours in 2010, big FaZe Temperrr fan. You know, I still remember messaging the FaZe Clan YouTube channel, and
Yeah.
this is not my story, but I'm gonna tell it one day fully. But like, I'll never forget I was on Countdown on Call of Duty 4. I could still picture it in my head where I was running when it popped up. FaZe Temperrr wants to be your friend. You added me early on. I was fanboying. I was a huge fan. Ended up joining FaZe. So, you know, if it wasn't for Tommy, I wouldn't be in FaZe. But that's the case for dozens of FaZe members and FaZe in general. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So I'm excited to talk about your story. You're like the OG. Like I look back, I'm like, it's so crazy. Like just 2011, early 2011, you were literally just the man. I mean, you still are, but I mean, in 2011, it was like FaZe was you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember meeting you for the first time. You're probably the only person I've ever met. This is like a glaze session right now. But have you gone to like a sport? You know, for people out there, if you've gone to like a basketball game or baseball game or something, you see the athlete, and it's like such a weird thing to see them in person
Yeah.
because you always see them on TV. When I met you in Anaheim, that's the feeling I got. I was like,
For
like
sure.
you looked fake to me because I saw you online for so
Yeah.
long, and
No, I had similar experiences too with like CBass and stuff, because I met CBass before I met you, and I met CBass after working with him every day for like 3 years,
yeah.
and then we met in person. I was like, bro, this is a trip.
It's so weird, bro.
Yeah.
I remember I was in that lobby in Anaheim. You were signing something, and I like pulled up with my brother.
Yeah.
I was like 16. My mom wouldn't let me go by myself, and
Yeah.
we got it's crazy. So now you have a kid, right? So it's such a long history.
It's such a long history.
So how old are you now?
I'm 31. Yeah, I'm few months, I'll be 32.
Old man.
Yep.
Old man.
Literally.
You were so 2011.
I was at the Children's Hospital yesterday, and it was cool. We got to spend time with the kids and stuff,
Yeah.
and did a little they have like a little esports lounge or something and so I'm over there on the mic. They have like setups like this, and I was talking to this one little girl, and she must have been like 8 or something, and this girl like is a girl you'd see out of Disney Channel. The way like her energy just reminded me of someone from Disney. Very animated, very like not afraid to speak her mind. And so anytime like I don't know, I was like complimenting her in a way, but then she would like just hit me with like insults and stuff. She'd be like oh you're so old, like you're so old, you're like 102 or something. I'm like I was like, dang, all right,
bro. I missed out on that yesterday because I'm sick, so I couldn't go.
Yeah.
But I did something recently at this like school. On like a Saturday school I went.
Yep.
And I asked all the kids, I'm like, how old do you think I am? They're raising their hands. They're like 40. It was like 55. I was like, there's no way these kids really think I'm that old. But you got 100. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was insane.
But all right, let's take it back though. I obviously, again, I've known you since you were like probably 18, 17. Yeah.
By the way, when I joined, because like obviously I was in the very, very beginning, and like that whole thing we'll get into and stuff, but I was also a massive fan of FaZe, so it's like we're all fans at one point. And we still are.
The best FaZe member is always someone who was a huge FaZe fan.
Yeah.
Like Scope. We're hanging out with Scope this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to like squeeze him out of love. I know he's not that much younger than me.
Buzz.
I feel like they're all, I don't care. I feel like I'm everyone's dad in FaZe. Well, not the new guys, but like, they're all, but like the old, especially like High Sky and stuff.
Yeah.
Little kids, like Scope's one of them. I feel like he just grew up in our community.
Yep.
He just loves FaZe with all his heart, like 100%. I just love him. But I was like that too. You were like that too. It's the best formula for being a FaZe member. 100%. But before you joined FaZe, I want to just hear about your childhood. So you grew up in Brazil. You moved here. Can you talk about where you grew up, what your family dynamics like?
Yeah,
and when you came to America?
Yeah, so I was born in Brazil. My whole family lives out there except for my mom and my brother, who's my half brother. He's my only sibling. We have the same dad. And I didn't grow up with him because I grew up with a single mom pretty much my whole life. And my parents were never together. I remember growing up in Brazil. Like I have like faint memories, but I do remember like vaguely what that stuff was like. But when I moved to America, I moved to Boston when I was 7. Like I was just about to turn 7, moved to Boston with my mom. The plan was for us to stay for 6 months and go back, but we ended up just staying. And when my mom... It was culture shock,
Yeah.
Growing up in Boston was absolute culture shock. We don't speak the same language, different culture. Everything was different.
So you didn't know any English when you came?
I knew barely any, like blue, red, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and you were 7. What do you remember from like the first 7 years? Like
I remember
when you visited, I remember you vlogging in Brazil. Yeah. You had cousins and stuff. Like this is probably like 2013, 2012.
Yeah.
And it seemed like you like had roots, like you had memories there, you know what I mean? And I remember I was like, obviously you were 7, but what do you remember from that period?
From when I was before I lived in Brazil?
Here. Yeah.
So I remember stuff from as early as I think I was 4, maybe 3. I remember going to like LAN centers. Like that's how people would game. It's very big in Brazil. Like
even back then.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like I would just go over there and play video games. I remember playing football, soccer on the street, like barefoot. And I remember going to the farm. My mom grew up in the farm, very poor. Like her family was very poor, but it was nice. We had this like big farm and stuff, and a lot of livestock, a lot of animals, fruits everywhere. Like in the very center of it, there's a big mango tree, like the juiciest mangoes you've ever eaten in your life. Incredible.
Have you gone back since then?
Yeah, I've gone back a few times, but
to your mom's family.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I've taken we can get into this stuff later, but I've taken Noah over there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, Noah, like
Noah's Ruggs' former cameraman.
Simplistic.
Yeah.
I love Noah. He's one of my closest friends, and I've taken him to Brazil 3 times. The first time we spent like 2 weeks there, went all around Brazil, and before that we were just in Boston. So Noah, out of anyone, even more than my fiance, has really like
in your family and stuff.
Dude, we spent time with both my family, like my mom's side and my dad's side. He got to spend some time in the farm. Like, bro, my mom grew up like dirt poor. She didn't have a bathroom in her house.
Yeah. Same with my dad. Yeah.
And she had like 8 other siblings in a 5-bedroom house. You know what I'm saying? With no bathroom. So like she eventually started cutting people's hairs and becoming a hairdresser, made money, and then ended up buying like a new house for them on the property, and used to walk to school barefoot a couple of miles every day.
So crazy. How many similarities there are between the Brazilian culture and my Palestinian culture. I think
Yeah,
we felt that in the New York house and the LA house, and Tico, right? Who also grew up in Sweden.
for
Like
sure.
anybody who had like a culture outside of America a little bit, it was just a different vibe. I don't know how to explain it. And there's so many similarities to your, like my dad's, everything you just mentioned is the same with my dad.
Right, right.
It's very interesting. I never lived though overseas, but
Right.
that's cool that you remember that. It's a very
Yeah.
interesting experience. Wait, and then you said your parents were never together?
No, they were never together. When I moved to America, though, it was extreme culture shock, and I wanted to learn English. I wanted to learn English, and I wanted my mom to learn it, and so I wouldn't speak any more Portuguese around her because it was harder for her to pick it up.
Yeah.
And so I only spoke English around her. I went to a bilingual elementary school, so they spoke Portuguese there too.
Oh, they did. Oh, nice.
Yeah, which was a smooth transition.
Yeah,
You know, I
in
picked up.
Boston. That's
Yeah, I picked
like
up.
random, huh?
It was pretty random. There's a lot of Brazilians in Massachusetts, but
Okay.
either way, I picked it up pretty fast, and my mom was pretty slow to it, and so that's why I realized like I just have to speak English. When we went back to Brazil for the first time when I was 12, that was 5 years of me not speaking Portuguese anymore and strictly speaking English. And I went back to Brazil, I was mute. Like I forgot like a lot of the language. It just didn't come to me. That's when I realized how important it was for me to just continue speaking Portuguese.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. I didn't go back for a long time after that. You know, I didn't really keep in touch with people out in Brazil because one, I didn't have a phone until I was maybe 13. But even when I got a phone, I barely talked with them, and I didn't go back until I was 19. And during those years, like those are like big formative years, you know, growing up. I only focused on my life in America. You know, I saw my life in Brazil as like something that is non-existent.
Yeah.
You know, I only focused on what I had. And then when I went back when I was 19, it was one of the most unforgettable experiences ever. So I went back around Christmas time, and my dad's side of the family, they're very, very close, very like healthy, like good family, you know. They welcomed me with like such open arms, and like they had a big like Christmas party or something, and like a lot of the family were there, and they had a big sign that said "Welcome back, Thomas."
Oh, wow.
And then there was like a big poster or whatever that they all signed.
Wow.
It was so sweet, you know, like,
Yeah.
and I wasn't used to that. And so I got like really emotional. I'm used to just me and my mom, you know, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
and I always respected my dad, and he's always been like a good man and a good father from my memory. And it's so weird how I didn't really process how I was feeling back then. And I would just drown myself in video games and other distractions, you know, to like, because I wasn't conscious of it. And it wasn't until like really the last like couple years of, you know, now being a father that I'm thinking about all these things, and also being a better man for my fiance, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm looking back in my life and growing from it. And so all those emotions I was feeling, that I was neglecting, were feelings of abandonment. You know, like I grew up with like abandonment issues because I was used to having a big family, and then all of a sudden I'm kind of taken away from that, and I just had to figure it out in Boston with my mom. And my
Yeah.
mom did her best to raise me as a single mother, and she did an amazing job for what she had.
Yeah.
But she can't, you know, fill the roles of my father. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah.
and so
So you had no communication with him that whole period of time until you went back?
very little,
Yeah.
but he was always there, and he always wanted me to be involved in stuff. And you know, it's just wild to think about, you know, because so being a father now, I don't take it for granted at all. I want my son to have the most amazing life possible, and I want to be there for him as much as I possibly can. And you know, these things happen, you know, like
Yeah.
it's very, very normal, but it's nice to just understand it now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, it's hard for people maybe to comprehend, but also in those types of cultures, they have so many kids. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like you said, he had 8 siblings, or your mom had 7 siblings.
Yeah, my mom had a lot.
And like, I remember I've talked to my grandma, and like, yeah, I've had like 15 pregnancies,
Wow.
you know, and she has like 8 or 9 kids, which means some miscarriages.
Yeah.
She literally had 2 kids that died at like 2, 3 years old,
Mhm.
one at like 8 months old. But like, they talk about it like, not that it's not a big deal. Obviously, they were sad about it, but like at that time in the villages and stuff, like
so normal.
it was normal for like some of your kids to not make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just such a different life. So even
Yeah.
for your dad, like for you to go to America with your mom,
Mhm.
you know, hopefully for a better future, whatever. Like that's a
Yeah.
normal thing in those countries. Like my dad didn't go back for 20 years when he
Right.
moved here. Like it's sad. Like it sucks. And like, but it's normal. You know what I mean? In those
sure.
cultures, it's very interesting. I mean, like
Yeah.
I've known you again this whole time. Like I never really, you don't think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
you don't at all. And I wouldn't if I didn't have like such an amazing partner in my life to like, help me want to achieve, help me want to get there for myself and
Yeah.
for I just always neglected that stuff and kind of just put it on the back burner. Like, if it wasn't important to me, which like I had no reason to think about that. I used to just drown myself in video games or FaZe and all this other stuff. And I never really saw a purpose for understanding my childhood and who I am until like I wanted to be a better man.
It's pretty cool. In the last few years, your brother moved to America. He
Yeah.
lived with you for a couple of years. Like I
Few
remember your
years.
brother came out of nowhere. I'm like, no way, Tommy like has a brother. Like I
Dude.
know you have a brother, but to see him in person, shout out to your brother. He's such a good dude too. I love him.
No, he's the man.
Everybody
I love him.
loved him.
Yeah, he's like really my father's son. You know, like he grew up with my father, and that just goes to show you how amazing of a guy my dad is, because Goo is and also his mom too. But Goo is a great.
He's
kid.
a really good dude.
He's a great kid.
And then your dad also came to America, right?
Yeah, he came recently.
Yeah.
It was his first time leaving Brazil.
Crazy.
Yeah, that like imagine that living.
That was after Cairo was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he got to see you. That's so
sure.
sick. Yeah.
No, it was sweet.
What was that like when he came?
No, just going back to the brother thing, like I really like growing up. I always wish I had a little brother like that. Mufasa song. I always wanted a brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey,
The
shout out
new
Mufasa.
New Mufasa. Anybody who's been here for a while knows that I love Lion King.
Yeah.
Tommy's the same. He texted me like a month ago. He's like, "You have to watch the new Mufasa movie," and I watched it. It was actually really good. But
yeah, I feel like you didn't like love it like I did. You said there was something that we could talk about it later. 'Cause you didn't
I mean,
spoil
I
it.
liked it, but not like the original Lion King.
Oh, of course. Nah, of course.
But but like in the movie. So you want a little brother. So when he came, I'm sure it was like,
I found out I had a brother when I was 12 and he was 4.
wow.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I went back to Brazil and I met him, I was so excited.
Yeah.
Funny story. When I brought him back to America, it was the day after we had a Counter-Strike event in Belo Horizonte, which is like the big city in my state, in Minas Gerais. Most people, when they think of Brazil, they only know like Rio or in São Paulo. But Belo is a beautiful city, and it's 2 hours outside of where I grew up. Big, beautiful city. It's like kind of like maybe like a New York. Anyways, my dad was there, my brother was there, my cousin from my mom's side was there, and just like family, like my stepbrother was there, and I got to see our Counter-Strike team win.
Crazy.
Yeah, we were in the finals. Thankfully, not against the Brazilian team because we had the fans now because they were cheering with us.
Yeah.
So my dad, who was my biggest inspiration, like athletically, he played football all his life and just was a good man and a good athlete. And so I always wanted to like kind of show him what I'm capable of and what. So he got to see the FaZe magic. You know what I'm saying?
He was there at the.
He was there. It was the only event
sick.
he's ever been to. He got to see like the FaZe magic and like all the fans and stuff. So that was a really special
That's
moment.
so sick. Yeah.
Winning in front of my dad. It's funny too because in that same year, my mom's only event she's been to was the major in Boston.
Oh no! Right.
And we lost that.
Anyone, whoever knows that is like a heartbreaking loss. That's like, it's not. That's like a heart stabber.
Yeah.
So your mom, I mean, I'm sure she didn't really understand what was going on, but
she also got to see the FaZe magic. Just different result. Either way, the very next day after we won, Nico was there too. He was playing, Nico and Kerrigan. The next day, I brought my brother back to America, and that day we we connected in Miami, and that morning was when XXX Tentacion died, when he got killed.
Wow. Was that in Miami too, right?
Yeah, it was in Miami.
So you moved to America. You said that you were even gaming in Brazil. You're playing football. I'll call it football for the sake of this episode, but we're talking about soccer when we say it, guys. Okay. Tommy's European.
No, absolutely not.
European. He's South American. But when you moved here, you were like 7, right? Did you have any goals of like what you wanted to do when you were older? I'm assuming you played football when you came.
Yeah, I wanted to be a professional soccer player, football player. Whatever.
Okay, so you played when you came.
Yeah, I played up until I was 14. I was in high school, and I realized that the soccer team started 2 weeks before. I was like, dang, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play. And so I talked to the coach or whatever, and they said, just come to practice. We'll see how you do. Pull it to practice, and the coach said, okay, well, we start the practice by running 4 kilometers, like 4 laps around the field, so it's like 4 kilometers. Back then, I had never run a mile, like, without stopping.
Yeah.
I'm used sprints and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. And so that killed me. I was like, honestly, that demoralized me. I was a straight for, you know, like back then I was a little, you know, and then it was funny at the very end, like when I got to the final stretch of like the run, it was like the last, I don't know, 30 yards or something. And I was like the second last one. I'm like completely out of breath, no gas in the tank. I see this kid behind me, you know, Zach something, I'm not gonna say his name. And like, he's like very unathletic, you know what I'm saying? And the kid, he's been there for like the last 2 weeks. He started sprinting like past me. And I was just like, no way, this kid, bro, I had nothing left in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I see this kid who's a very like unathletic kid just like sprint past me. I'm like, dude, it demoralized me.
So you quit.
I quit. After that, I went home. I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm not playing this anymore. She's like, you have to play a sport. You have to play a sport. So I was like, all right, well, I'll play a different sport. Picked up volleyball because you don't need to run like that, you know?
And then you played, I remember your early vlogs on volleyball court.
Yeah, and our team was nasty. Like, these kids were dedicated. It was cool. I wish I never gave up football, though. Like, football, like, I love it so much. To me, it's the most, I mean, it is the beautiful game. For me, it's the most, like, the greatest sport in the world, by far. Watching the World Cup, how the countries unite.
It's crazy,
It's the greatest spectacle in sports, you know? Yeah, I love it so much. But either way, picked up volleyball, played that for 3 years, and all year round, our team was super dedicated. My junior year, went to the state finals, lost, but it was a very close game to a team that was way taller than us. I was like the tallest kid on my team. I was 6'3", and then the team that we were playing against had a kid that was 6'5", 6'8", and a 7-footer.
Wow.
And we took
It's like me up there.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. You know, I gave up.
Yeah, well, it is what I mean. It led to where you are today in some way. But you definitely had hobbies like skating also. We all know that, right? Yep. Skating was it was a part of your life early on. To this day it is. But
for sure.
How'd you get into skating? Did you do that in Brazil?
No, I thought skating was cool. I had like a little skateboard that was not like a real skateboard back in the day, but I didn't really skate like that. It wasn't until my neighbor, Cody at the time, WP Echo, who formed WP, who is, by the way, WP is still around to this day.
No way.
I found that out recently and I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Different owners and stuff, but like three of my hometown friends founded that.
That's crazy.
And Cody was like my best friend at the time. He was my neighbor and we used to skate. He used to skate and I got into skating because of him. Love skateboarding, and to this day, it's like still like it's an art form, you know? It's really, skateboarding was a part of and still is a part of FaZe's DNA.
Yeah.
You know, the whole trick shots thing, like that all happened the way that it did. The Temperr shot happened because I grew up skating for 3 years prior to playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And so I was used to these skate videos and these, you know, really dope videos made just with clips and different tricks and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's like it kind of transformed into trickshotting in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anybody who has seen skating videos, you could see the similarities.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Before we get into the gaming and joining FaZe, did you ever have any jobs before? What did you do?
So it wasn't I got paid under the table. It was my friend's mom's company. It was called Sweet Things Bakery, and it was like downtown Haverhill.
Yeah.
And I used to work the register there for a few months. It wasn't like a job I had for a minute. But yeah, that was my only real job. Yeah, I remember there was one time there was like some event where like people were day drinking in like downtown Haverhill, and these two drunk guys come in and they're like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Baklava," and he's like, "Waffle dough?" But yeah, that's the only job I had.
Oh man, okay. Well, that's very interesting. And then you were, because I remember again. I've seen your whole. I feel like I've seen your whole life, right? I haven't. I've only seen it from like high school on.
Same.
But I remember you being in high school, vlogging in high school. You know, I'm not trying to cut ahead, but I just want to ask about school before we get into FaZe. And you have a funny story I remember about you being in college and dropping out. But before we get there, did you like have a career path in mind before you got into FaZe?
No, I had no idea.
Okay.
That thought like scared the absolute shit out of me. You know, like just to think about what I wanted to do, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was also a terrible student. Like if I didn't care about the subject, I was not paying attention.
Yeah,
you know? The ones that I did care about, I paid attention, but that didn't happen regularly.
So just to jump ahead, and then we'll go back. But can you tell the story about when you dropped out?
Yeah. So after high school, I took a year off to kind of just figure out what I wanted to do. And this is when FaZe was like second year to third year of FaZe. This was right before Black Ops 2 dropped, I think. And I just wanted to figure, I had an apartment at the time. There was no career path, right? Like FaZe wasn't something when we started that was monetarily possible.
Yeah.
Right. And so you weren't able to make any money doing what we did. So I had no idea how long this was going to last. My roommate at the time, Will, who, I remember when he first told me about taxes, he's like, yo, are you paying taxes? And I'm like, no, like, why would I? And he's like, how much do you make? How much are you making right now? And it was like over 10,000 a year or something. He's like, dude, you got to pay taxes. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. Like, you gotta. He convinced me later on, like, that I should go to community, like, go to college, right?
Yeah.
And still do that stuff. So I went to this community college for business. I went for almost a full semester, and I remember I was taking a test in the math class over here. So a lot of stuff was going on with FaZe, right?
Yeah.
And I'm over here, and there was something going on in my personal life too, like, and I'm over here trying to focus on this math test that, like, I just don't see anything. How is this helping my life at all? I'm going to school for business when it's teaching me traditional forms of business, which really doesn't help me with FaZe at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I'm over here trying to solve some like dumb math problem, right?
Yeah.
And so I was over it. And so I got up, I started walking out, and the teacher was like, where are you going? And I said, I'm going home. I just walked out. And that was it. That was the last time I stepped
It's like a movie scene.
Bro,
That's like literally, if we ever do a movie, that scene's got to be in there.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
going home. It just sounds so dramatic. Like a tight shot on your face and you just say, I'm going home.
Yeah.
That's so funny to me. And you never went back.
Never went back, bro.
Okay, so now let's just get into how you joined. Like you recruited me, like I said. You recruited a lot of FaZe members. I don't know how you joined FaZe. So can you tell the story about when you first came across FaZe, 2010?
Mm-hmm.
By the time this goes up, I think it's either our 15-year anniversary will have passed. So 15 years this year, FaZe has been created. You've been in since 2010. I've been in since 2011. You beat me a couple months, 6 months, a year, even close. What was it like in 2010 when you found FaZe? How did you find FaZe? How did you end up joining?
So I grew up playing a lot of Halo before Call of Duty. Halo was my first console FPS, and I didn't get a PVR until Call of Duty. One of my friends were playing Call of Duty, and so I was like, you know what, let me just try Call of Duty. So I got COD 4 about 2 months before MW2 came out, and I was enjoying COD, right? My first time playing Call of Duty, my friend had already been playing for a while. We did a 1v1 private match on, what's the one map on COD 4 that has like, it's just like a hill?
In the middle of the map?
Yeah.
Across ambush.
Is it ambush?
Is it like where there's two?
Yeah, there's like a bus in the middle or something, and like.
Is it two flat areas and it goes up to the middle?
Yeah, it's like a very linear map, and then there's like the top part where you can like sit and snipe from the balcony. You can see like down the map.
Is it a big or small map?
Smaller map.
Either ambush or crossfire, but I think it's ambush.
Either way, yeah, we're playing.
Well, now I need to know. Is there like an underground part?
No, there's no underground part.
Maybe you don't know about it because you weren't that into COD 4. It's kind of hidden.
So it's the same map if you played like Modern Warfare 3, and like the war game mode. Did you play that?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is it this map?
No.
It's not ambush.
So it doesn't go like that. I'm talking about like it goes straight down.
Okay, crossfire. It is crossfire. That's
Crossfire.
a huge map though. What do you mean small map?
Whatever.
Well, I was so into COD 4 and bounces and stuff. So
yeah, COD 4 is sick.
It's this map?
Yep, that's it.
Crossfire. Oh,
Yeah.
the bus. Yeah. Okay, crossfire. All right.
So
I used to do bounces, go on the top.
bounces were crazy.
Yeah.
I remember Tico doing that stuff. He had an M16, I had an MP5, and I was just going around playing the game like Halo, like hip firing. I didn't know like how to aim down sight and stuff, right? So I'm just going around. Anytime I see him, I'm just jumping, like spraying him down, hip fire, and killing him. I had like 5 kills in a row, and I was like, damn, like your dog. I wasn't saying it back then. I was probably like, yeah, that was my first time getting on COD. Loved COD 4, but got into Modern Warfare 2, and that's when I really fell in love with the game. I remember I got into somebody sniping, like they were quick scoping. The kid's gamer tag was similar to FaZe. It was Days Hipfire,
Crazy.
capitalized almost the same. And this dude was like nasty at quick scoping. And I remember we became friends. I added him, and then he invited me to a private match on Russ. And that was my first time seeing Russ. And this dude was going around quick scoping, no scoping, just doing all that. And so he introduced me to that, right? He used to do 360s and stuff a little bit too. And like, I was blown away, right? And so especially when I saw Zerg Grizz do the first 360, that flipped the whole script for me. And I was just like, no way you can play the game like this.
Yeah.
This is skateboarding on Call of Duty. And so I started no scoping, and then I started doing little pop shots and then quick scoping. Like that was my whole progress through to learning how to quick scope. Was doing that a lot. I used to love making skate videos. I had a camera that I used to record and make videos with my friends and stuff. Then I started recording my TV because I didn't have a PVR and I wanted to make gaming videos and montages.
Sorry, there's a picture that my editor has to put on the screen of you sitting with the. Yeah, that's one of the most legendary pictures ever. Tommy just sitting in front of the MW2. Was it Rundown?
I don't know what map
maybe
it was.
Thinking of your first video was on a Rundown.
Thinking of the first video.
Sorry with my nose. I'm a big FaZe Temperrr fan. I remember your Rundown video, recording your TV.
Yep.
But there's a picture of you sitting.
Yeah, so this photo.
That picture is so legendary.
So this is I used to play when I used to record. I used to switch the setup to my stepdad's room, and I would put like right there. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, but whenever I would record the game, I would have to like sit on the bottom, like not on the bed, so my head wouldn't be there.
That's so sick, though.
Yeah, and I had the camera just zoomed in, and like so it wasn't like cropped perfectly, but I would have to do that on the edit. But yeah, that was how I have some like a montage that was made like that with my friends back, like my real life friends and stuff. So I was in different teams before FaZe, helped lead those teams. I always like looking back on it now, I think it's because I had abandonment issues that I wanted to like have a family. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what FaZe is. It's a family to its core. Like, that's how we created FaZe. You know, it was a very family oriented dynamic, and that's why we were able to get through all the tough times that we did, because you know it was a very passionate family thing. But I always led teams before FaZe. Just wanted to kind of like build something. You know, I always wanted to build something greater than myself, and I knew that the only way to do that is to have like-minded people. And I really enjoyed, you know, that company of other like-minded people and doing something, you know, because I didn't have that growing up. I grew up very isolated, and I always wanted that.
Yeah.
So, you know, started competitive sniping early on. Love that. That was my favorite time. One of my favorite times playing Call of Duty was that. I just wanted to be the best sniper possible, right? And played the game at least 8 hours a day every day when I got back home from school. Sometimes it'd be longer. Sometimes I would stay up all night gaming. You know, just going to school, just absolute drain, and then eventually started quick scoping and doing trick shots and stuff. But when I first found out about FaZe, I used to be in a forum. Like that's how deep I was in
You're like a sniping forum.
A sniping forum.
Okay.
It was called the M200 movement. My friend Red Octo created this site, and I used to be on there. We'd just talk about, you know, sniping and stuff like that. And one day he linked it was a FaZe house cat video called Meow Mix 1.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that one?
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember that was a series.
Yeah, so Meow Mix 1 was the first FaZe video I saw. And House Cat at the time was like the dude. Like this dude was insane, far ahead of his time, like just crazy with it. And there was like a few other FaZe members like Resistance, Clibs, J-Cakes, Magic. I think that was about it. When I first found out like that video, I thought it was crazy. You know, I never seen anything like that. It was really sick. To this day, it's still like the shots are still kind of crazy. Like, you know, thinking back that he was hitting this stuff in like mid 2010, you know what I'm saying? Like May of 20. So I watched that video early in June. You know, FaZe was created May 30th.
You were that early?
Yeah, I watched that. That video was posted like, you can see it now. It was somewhere in June.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so
they literally had like a couple hundred subscribers when you found it.
Yeah, I don't remember how many I had when I first watched it, but then I watched Illcams 5 because that was the last Illcams.
The most recent one.
The most recent Illcams. And that, I was like, dude, this is sick. This is like my team called NK, which was a competitive sniping team. And then one day I decided to disband it and just go solo. I think I wanted to make a new tag and I wanted just like the OG Temperrr, but it was taken. And so that's when I added the 2 extra R's. That's so I got that tag because I used to be like NK Temperrr, Lazy Temperrr, just with 1 R before FaZe and stuff. And so then I added the 2 extra R's. I was just Temperrr. I was solo for about a week. My boy who was in NK, Dreams, ended up joining FaZe around that time, and I was bored. Like I was really bored just being solo, right? It just didn't made no sense to me. And so Dreams told me, he's like, yo, FaZe are having tryouts if you want to like try out. And so they were having like free for all trials. And free for all was my bread and butter. Like that's all I played. If I ever touch Call of Duty again, which I don't ever, Counter-Strike's way better, but I play free for all. You know what I mean? Like that's like I love it. You know, I used to play that in Halo, and so got in these trials, smacking everybody. I was winning most of the games we played. I think we played like 3 games. I won 2 and came second or something, the third. And me and Recon got recruited that day by Resistance.
I didn't know this. You literally joined FaZe through a tryout.
Through a tryout.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I didn't know that story.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That makes it even better to me, honestly.
Yeah, that's wild.
You made it through a Rust tryout.
Yep. Literally.
That is insane.
And so
message to all friends, recent players, hosting clan tryouts. You joined FaZe through one of those messages, basically.
Dude, it's so funny because people still think like that they can get in that way or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
God bless them. You know, they're usually kids that don't really understand. But
you never know what the future holds, brother.
Like for anybody that's wondering how to join FaZe now, it's like the best way to look at it and to try to understand is look at the last people we recruited, try to understand why we recruited them. Don't try to replicate what they're doing, but just focus on building you and yourself and your own brand. And you know, if we happen to you just can't expect it. Like that's really what it is. Like,
well, I mean, our FaZe has changed so much. Every year, it's different.
Oh, it's so different.
So
yeah,
it's
harder and harder. Like every single year to join FaZe. But
I did not know though that you joined that way. That's crazy.
When I joined, I asked. I was like, "Where's House Cat?" Like, cause I got like, because he was that dude, and they're like, "Oh, he left," and I was like, "Wait, he left FaZe?" And he's like, and they're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yeah, he joined Rise."
Wait, hold on. What month did you join?
August 1st, I joined.
August of 2010.
I posted my first video August 2nd.
I was only August 3 months old at the time.
Yeah, so 800 subscribers. When I joined, there was 800 subscribers on the YouTube channel.
Crazy.
And Illcams 8 was the last Illcams.
So House Cat left.
House Cat left, joined the other, joined Rise.
What?
Different so Rise. Crazy. Rise was bigger than FaZe at the time.
Yeah.
They were putting more stuff out, and he joined Rise because the other people in FaZe weren't doing anything to build FaZe. Like that's my whole like memory of it. I like remember that like it was night and day, like it was yesterday. And so he was Rise House Cat. I think he has a montage that was put out.
I think Rise Timid.
No, he came back as FaZe Timid, but he was still Rise
House Cat.
House Cat. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, he had a cool montage that he dropped when he was in Rise. But
so,
anyways, when I joined, I just started posting. Like I was like, yo, let me I want to post a video tomorrow, and they gave me access to the channel and stuff. And I was just doing everything for FaZe. Like early on, I was doing everything. Like I took this like very serious. I think Resistance, great guy by the way. I love Resistance. Ben, shout out him.
You still talk to him, right?
Very vaguely. Every once in a while, like he's still in Texas. He's got a family and stuff. Like he's good dude. You know. I was doing everything for FaZe at the time. Like not just posting videos. I was helping recruit members. I was designing the graphics, like the brand, like working on the branding. I was editing the videos. Like Illcams was our bread and butter series. I've edited 19 of those.
Really?
I put 19 different Illcams together.
Wow. I didn't know that. First off, that's crazy. Number 2, what's even more crazy is you replied to a tweet recently. Someone made a little graphic showing who had the most Illcams in the history of Illcams. Tommy was number 1.
Bro, I couldn't believe it.
And I was in the top 5, I think.
Yeah.
And I was shocked I was in the top 5 too. But you number 1 is crazy.
Bro, I had no idea. I really
there's
thought
49 Illcams. We never did did we do a 50?
I thought that we did. Maybe I
think we did. I think
yeah.
Dude, they're gonna be so mad that I don't even know that. But if we did, it was like low key, like a random.
It kind of came out very later on. I'm pretty sure we did.
I think we did do a 50.
I'm pretty sure
my memory is so bad. That's an insane stat that you have the most Illcams ever in the 50.
I was convinced I was like maybe top 8.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how I'm top 5 either. I swear, that's crazy to me. Like, there's like the Prizzies and the Ramos. Where was Ramos on that list?
Oh, I think he was top 5.
He must have been top 5. There's no way. Or the list is wrong, in my opinion.
I think
there's no way Ramos isn't top 5.
I think he was 4.
All I think about when I think about Illcams is Ramos.
He was maybe 3, maybe.
Well, that just shows how early we both were, especially you.
Yeah.
I mean, you were there, brother. 800 subs is crazy.
For sure.
I was a fan at like 6,000 subs, I think.
Bro, people have like the whole history like twisted because of people that came in and decided to try to change and rewrite history. So you can believe what you want to believe. I'm not going to be offended. I know exactly what happened.
So what? So okay, you were doing everything for FaZe at the time.
Yep.
And then I remember. At this point, let me just bring more. I came in at the end of 2010.
Top 5 trick shots. I was doing.
Wait, no. Before that, I was a fan end of 2010 when Black Ops 1 came out.
Yep.
FaZe made a crazy montage on Black Ops 1. That's when I found it. I was like, what is this? And I fell in love. I entered a editing contest for Rise.
Our War, right?
Our War.
Our War, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Sick montage.
Yeah, it was crazy. I entered an editing contest for Rise. You know, I literally wanted to join Rise to get close to FaZe.
Yeah.
Like I was a huge fan.
Mm-hmm.
I would comment on the channel comments every 1,000 subscribers.
What was your first FaZe video? Was it Our War?
I think Our War must have been my first FaZe video.
Yeah.
And then I remember I would wake up every day and I would check the roster to see if people got recruited. And anytime someone got recruited, I low-key was pissed. Like, I wasn't even really making content back then. But I was like, like one more person that I'm not going to be able to get recruited. I remember Riots. I don't know why. I remember when Riots got recruited. He's like a British trick shot, right?
Yeah. No, sniper.
I know, but he used to do like throwing knife trick shots. He used to be in ill camps like throwing knife trick shots.
Yep.
Random, but
Yeah.
I remember when he got recruited, I don't know why I was so pissed when he got recruited. Because it just felt like every time someone got recruited. But I remember one day going on YouTube. And JKX, who was the leader, he was the leader at the time, posted a video, FaZe Temperrr went crazy. He hacked the channel. I was like, what's going on? Like, my whole world was crumbling, bro. Like, I swear to God, I was a huge fan. It really bothered me. Like, clearly something major happened. He said, literally, he put out like it wasn't even a vlog. He put out like a black screen with text. And he's like, FaZe Temperr's going crazy. He stole the channel. He hacked it.
Yeah.
He changed the password. And I remember going to the FaZe channel, like it looked different, and I was like, "It's all over." Like,
yeah.
And then like a couple days later, everything went back to normal. I think JKX was just out. What happened? Why did you go crazy? You hacked the channel? What happened?
So, at the time, dude, I was literally doing everything. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I was doing like 95% of the work. Like the other 5% was people just hitting trick shots and stuff like that. There was a couple of videos that were made. You know, my first month after joining FaZe, I recruited Slasher. Slasher joined in September.
Shout out Slasher.
Yeah, love that dude. Amazing guy. I think I recruited maybe a few people, maybe 3 people. Was doing everything, right? When that happened, was top 5 trick shots out? That was before, right?
I think before. This happened way
still
before. 2010.
I just wanted to be a leader of the team because I was a leader of the team, right? And so I wanted my title next to Resistance and JKX as leader. But it's funny because I don't know if I even had a title or if I was co-leader, but I just knew like this after 8 months that I was the leader of the team. Like everyone just, you know what I mean? I handled everything. And so JKX was denying me that. Like he was just like, no, like that's not gonna happen. And so I just was kind of over it. I was like, okay, well this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna be somewhere where I'm not, wanted, right? And so I left for a day. Like I was out of FaZe. I was just like, I'm done with this. And then a day goes by, and I was like, hold on. I love FaZe to death. Like, first of all, the name FaZe Clan, like, I don't know if I had already created the logo at the time. Do you remember?
I don't think you did, but I want to get to that. I can't wait to talk about that. But
yeah, so
this is the first drama that happened, though.
Yeah, this was the
first. The logo's the second drama.
This is the first drama. And so I was in my head like, hold on. I have access to the YouTube channel.
You're running it all at the time.
I'm running.
Keep in mind, by the way, for everyone watching, like, back then, it was just a gaming trick-shotting team. Most people, that's why a lot of the early FaZe members disappeared, because nobody took it serious.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't something that people really cared about. It was just like a hobby. So Tommy was probably the first person to look at it like this has potential to be a big thing. Yeah. And like had that vision.
And money was not involved.
It wasn't money, no, it was just a vision of building something.
Yeah. And most
people, it was like a hobby they did at night.
Yeah.
But then they did school and then they literally left forever. Like they would leave, like he said, like people would just disappeared, stopped logging on to Xbox, and you didn't hear from them.
Exactly. Clips, for example, one of those people. He got the red ring of death, and we had no idea, but he was gone.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk to him for years, and I always wondered, where's Clips? Where's Clips? And like,
because there was probably it was probably just all through Xbox, right?
Bro, I actually, like, I really liked the kid back then, and I searched his name up on Facebook. I was trying to find him. I was trying to get access. Like, I was trying to like see what happened, because all of a sudden he's just gone. Yeah. And there was nothing else. Like, and so
and he got the red ring.
He got the red ring.
Didn't want to buy him another Xbox, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it was in 2010.
Yeah.
So for Tommy to have this vision of building it into something else, it's like very unique. It's like Hex. Like Hex,
bro.
Like there's a reason that you and Hex and people around that time that are still here are here. It's because
Yeah, we're visionaries for that space, you know. And
So you quit for a day, then you started thinking like, wait a minute, I have the password. I don't want to leave.
so I just changed the password and I just took it over. And
And did you kick Jay Kicks out or?
I don't remember.
That's so
I
funny.
think I don't know. I don't remember.
Dude, because I remember, like, again, like, I would log on every day, like, seeing the name J Cakes. I can't describe the feeling I have, but there's this feeling that I would get, and I could still kind of feel it when I would see J Cakes or see a new FaZe video. Like,
Yeah.
it was so special to me. Like, I remember 2010 when you posted your setup video, Christmas Eve, or New Year's Eve, I think it was.
Yep.
I remember it being like a New Year's Eve party at my parents' house. 'Cause
Yep.
she used to always invite my cousins and whatever. And I showed one of my cousins your video, your setup video. And I just like thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like it was 2010. I so vividly remember watching your setup video and thinking it was the coolest. Like I was just like the biggest fanboy. So when I would just see J Cakes post that, but I don't remember what happened after that. But you changed the password and then things just kept going.
Yeah. So J Cakes was like, I don't know. He was the villain in that story, right? Like he just did not like me for that reason. Like, but he didn't do anything. Like if anything, Resistance did more. Resistance was the one that did the tryouts and stuff like that. But J Cakes was just not like power tripping for no reason when he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I was doing everything. I was editing all the videos. I was posting all the videos, recruiting the players and stuff. Really just like building this. And so you know, just took it over. Like people. The thing is, when I left, like Slasher and other people were ready to leave with me.
Yeah.
Because they knew that I'm the one that's building this. And so I was like, this is stupid. Like it's FaZe. Like we're building FaZe. This is it. So change the password and then continue building. And I don't know, whatever J Cakes put out that video. So I think that's when we removed him. I don't think I just removed him as soon as I wouldn't, that doesn't sound like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just to jump ahead, because I think we could stay here for 5 hours probably. Last question I want to ask, like, can you drop some names from that time that people wouldn't know?
C-Dub, Ghazi.
Ghazi was Ghazi was legendary. Gutless was my like goat at the time.
Gutless was sick. He was like the twitchiest player ever. Like this dude just kept spamming the Y button, like depended on it. Hit some insane shots and stuff. Who else?
No, yeah.
DZ.
Yeah.
DZ.
Deezo.
No, DZ. It's D-E-E-Z.
Oh, sorry, Deezo. Deezo, you make content now. Shout out Deezo. He's like, he still makes COD content. DZ, you're right.
DZ, who else?
There's
Mala. Was like right after, around the same time as you.
Mala was my rival at the time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mala. No, you know, I was just a 14-year-old hater back then. But,
CSU.
Recon, because when you said you got recruited to Recon, that's like a throwback for me. There was some random names early in 2010 that I don't even know. That's why I was kind of asking you. Good times.
That was really it, you know.
I love meeting people to this day that were around at that era. That's like, those are my favorite people to talk to, because it's just like, if you're there, you just know how special that time was.
Back then, it was all about, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No. I just think it was just, that experience was like, you can never replicate what that was in 2010, 2011.
It was so special.
And if I ever meet someone and they genuinely like bring up stuff about that time,
bro,
there's like a special connection that you have.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, to that, this is what I was talking about in the interview yesterday with the guy. Like, this is like, he asked me, what's the most proud moment of FaZe? And there's not like for me, it's not like a singular moment. Like the other night was actually really special with the FaZe guys.
Yeah.
Like, playing CS with them. That was really sweet. But there's not a singular moment per se. It's just more like whenever someone tells me I grew up watching you, that to me is like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, like I know what that means, because when I met Shane O'Neill, who was one of the greatest skateboarders alive, and I met Nigel that same day. But when I met, like, I freaked out. Like, I saw him. It was in 2015. It was at X Games. We won silver. It was Call of Duty was being played at the X Games. We won silver. I saw him on Sunday at this bar when we were pre-gaming for the Red Bull party. And, bro, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. And I grew up watching this guy, but I grew up watching him skateboard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what his personality was like, but I knew how he skated. It's similar to when someone watches you doing, like, hitting trick shots and stuff, but you're not seeing the person, right? Just from skating, like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Right?
You can kind of tell what someone's personality is like, though, through the way that they're trick shotted, or the way that their like their episodes looked.
100%.
There was a vibe. Like, you can tell who you vibe with. Like Gutless.
Yeah.
Like, I was attracted to that style. Like, I knew I liked that type, you know?
For sure. But the difference is when someone says that they grew up watching me, it's like, I assume most people, it's probably like New York House.
Especially you. I feel like especially you, it's like early.
Yeah.
Like, I think if anyone tells you that, they were probably like me, like saw you trick shotting when you were FaZe Temperrr in 2012, 2011, like.
But also vlogging.
Yeah.
So you got to really see like how I was and like how my life was, because I used to vlog my life. I used to
In high school, you used to
bro,
vlog.
like exactly. You know what I'm saying?
You
got
vlogged in 2012, like 2011, very early.
So it's almost like you got to share the experience that I had growing up when I was in high school or post high school, and that like it's like almost like you were there with me, even though I have no idea who you are and I'm just might be meeting you for the first time ever. But you share that sentiment and that memory with me, so it's like that's profound. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that's really deep, and just like you can't recreate that. You can't buy that. It's that to me is the coolest thing ever.
Dude, it's so cool. And, I think for me, for a few years, we had some rough patches of FaZe. And I also had a point in my time where I just wanted to be like, live a private life.
Yeah.
But I think in the last few years, like that's something that I'm like, even yesterday, like meeting people, like this event was really cool because we meet people that are telling us that, right?
For sure.
And I don't know, sometimes I forget, like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I forget that there's people that are literally like real fans. Like,
yeah,
they used to watch when they were that little. Like you said, like I grew up watching you. Like we've heard it so much, but when you really realize, like they used to watch us like a TV show. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And these people feel like they know us personally.
Yeah.
And even me, like genuinely, when I meet someone from that era, there's something about like it does feel like we share. Like I know it's the first time we met, but there really is a special like
connection,
weird connection that you can't describe or explain.
Yeah, yeah.
Such a cool time, bro. So it is. That was my favorite part about this event. Just meeting people, like
it's a beautiful thing.
Like I think both of us probably to this day we still get stopped. I don't know about in Indiana, but if you're in California, if you're going anywhere, chances are at least once every time you go out, if you go to a populated area, someone still like looks at you. Someone knows, they used to watch. But coming to events like this, the amount of people coming up, so many different types of people.
For sure.
Like I'm like literally some guy told me yesterday, like I'm finishing my master's and I started watching you when I was in like going into middle school, like stuff like that. With this podcast, one of my favorite things is so many people are like, yo, I used to watch you guys. And this is like the content that I love to watch now when I'm driving to work or I'm at work. And I'm like, dude, it's so cool. It's like
they get to like
we're all like grown up together.
For sure.
So
you have worked for years to build your brand, your business, and your future. But without a trust set up, everything that you have built is at risk. Without the right plan, your assets can be tied up in court for months or worse, for even years. Your royalties, your investments, digital accounts, all will be vulnerable to taxes, lawsuits, and the government's default rules. A trust ensures that your wealth, your legacy, and your wishes are honored. No red tape, no delays, nobody deciding for you. Cornerstone Law Offices is the estate planning firm trusted by creators, entrepreneurs, and professionals all across the country to protect what matters most. Don't wait for a crisis. Don't let the courts decide your future. Go to www.cornerstonelawservices.com today and lock in your legacy before it's too late.
But yeah, you were again a visionary. You said it, especially at that time, vlogging in high school, bro. You have vlogs in your high school class, which is so cool. But at that time, you have sketchbooks full of the FaZe logo, right? That you were sketching it.
Yeah.
You were drawing FaZe. It's so cool. Your mom has all this stuff still. But what's the story about the FaZe logo? Because a lot of people don't know that you created the FaZe logo.
Yep.
There's, again, now it's like a meme, but in like probably 2013, one of our old designers, Ferox, claimed that he made the FaZe logo and Tommy stole it from him or whatever. But what's the story about creating the FaZe logo and Ferox? And also, can you describe what the FaZe logo is? Because a lot of people maybe don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a backwards F and a C, right?
So FaZe Clan, backwards F and a C. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. No,
So then when you see it, you're like, oh, wow. Wait, now I see it now. So cool. You literally killed it, by the way.
Appreciate it.
This is a dope, like, obviously, but like, bro, this logo.
It worked out. It worked out for sure.
No, but it's actually such a sick.
It's a powerful, simple, clean logo. You know?
Gatorade Twitch stole it, remember?
Yeah. By the way,
Fast Twitch. Please, my editor Eunice, put up the logo, Fast Twitch, next to the FaZe logo. Come on.
You know, there's another thing that I came up with that got taken from me. Like, all right, so I used to try to think of new video ideas for FaZe and stuff. One of them, I remember I was in high school. That's what I used to think about when I was in school. I thought about like, we should do like a series or at least a video where we split the team up and like half the team, people get like 2 weeks to record with a clan tag, and both sides have to like come up with better content.
Clash of the Clans?
Clash of the Clans.
Yeah.
That terminology, we were posting those videos a year before the game Clash of the Clan came up.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah,
Clash of the Clans. That's what the name of the game is.
Ours was Clash of the Clan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were sick.
Yeah.
Those were so cool.
You're
Like,
welcome, by the way. I mean, you know what I mean?
those are
Enjoy
so
it.
cool though. Again,
The-
like those are one of the things when that would drop.
Yeah.
Such a cool moment to watch because it'd be like, you know, team versus team.
Mm-hmm.
FaZe Member versus FaZe Member clips going back and forth, and then everyone to vote who won at the
Yeah,
end.
it
That's
was
so
fun.
cool, bro.
Yeah, it was fun. You
So
know?
legendary. But the logo, sorry, I just want to. How did you? What's the story about the logo?
So the logo, yeah, you know, at the time I used to design the branding and stuff. Like we were already using the font. It was like the Batman font.
Yeah,
And so that's like what FaZe Clan was. And like I love that, you know, and so I wanted to kind of take that same vibe and create a logo with it. And so I just FC, I'm like, oh, it looks kind of weird if it's just F and C. But then I flipped the F and put it together, and I sketched it out. And I didn't know how to work Illustrator at the time, like I do now. But I had someone that's a designer just digitize it. So
FaZe
this dude
Ferox?
literally just made it digital for me. But I already drew this out, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
he just made it digital. And so that's it. That's really the story. Like
And then he claimed that he came up with the concept.
he came like he created the logo, which, like, you know what I mean? In a way he did digitally, but I had already drawn it
You
out.
gave him the sketch, and he made it into digital.
Yes. And then, you know,
That's
whatever.
funny. I don't know. It's kind of like a meme to me. I think it's funny because we always meme Tommy, and we always tell him that Ferox made the logo. To this day,
Yeah.
we tell him that.
Yeah, it's whatever.
I also, another fun fact, Tommy also made the Atlanta FaZe logo too. So our COD team's logo, you also made that. Even the pants you're wearing right now, the new FaZe esports drop, put it up here. Beautiful drop. Tommy designed it with
Thank you.
another designer. So you used to do graphic design, right? Before you were like
A little bit. I never really like dove into that stuff, but like now it's like something I spent when I moved to Indiana. Like I really just spent my time. Like I realized I'm so far away from everybody. I'm not gonna be able to be in content like I am. I have people pull up to my streams all the time, like, "Yo, why aren't you at the FaZe house? You gonna pull up to the FaZe house?"
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like I'm not in LA anymore. You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And people, like, some people don't even think I'm in FaZe anymore. They're like, bro, like, are you still even in FaZe? And it's
Yeah.
like, brother, I am FaZe. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like
Yeah.
you. It's like asking.
I get
you-
the same questions. Yeah.
so whatever, you know, it is what it is. Like
2011, just very quick after that, I got recruited, you know, maybe less than a year later, after all this stuff, FaZe is popping. I remember the 300K IRL was probably one of the first moments where, like, it was 300K, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Where, like,
I got to talk about real quickly when you joined. It was a top 5 trick shots moment right before you joined, and you got the #1 clip.
I got the
think?
number 5.
Oh, it was number 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, either way, it was like a sick throwing knife clip.
I remember I remember that day very clearly, yeah.
Yeah, and
But
I just
yeah.
remember thinking like, okay, I see this kid active. Like he's always just like he's hitting stuff. Like he's someone that should be a part of FaZe. And yeah, you just stuck out. You know, you stuck out, and it made sense for you to join FaZe. And I added you to the Skype chat, and the rest was history.
Bro, I remember I couldn't I feel like I got just like, I don't know how it happened. It was so quick and random. I mean, I was in TSU, and then I joined Dare. I went upstairs, I came back downstairs, and you added me to the chat. And I was shivering at my laptop or whatever,
yeah.
and I was like, I didn't have a mic, so I couldn't talk in the Skype chat.
Yeah,
You're like, yo, you want to join FaZe? And I was just like, and I remember seeing Gutless in the chat,
yeah.
and I was like, there's no way this is real
You're
life.
just
bro.
tweaking. You're like,
Bro, I
yeah.
was like, #1, like, brother, you have no
Yeah.
idea how big of a fan I was. So, like, that's why I get it. I love seeing people that love FaZe because I know what it feels like. Like, I
Yeah.
would, obviously, I love it in a different way now, but, like, starting as a fan is so special.
For sure.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. Fakey wasn't at the time, too, a big name, obviously. Like, really quickly after I joined, within a few months, it's exploded, right? 300K.
Mm-hmm.
You guys did an IRL video. I was too scared to go on camera at the time.
Tico was in that.
Tico was in that. The GOAT. I love you, Tico.
Cutlass was in that too. His part was kind of, yeah, it was like dark and like,
I don't even remember. I have to watch that video back.
yeah.
But I mean, like, very quickly, right? In only a couple years of you moving to America, not a couple at this time. I mean, it was like 10 years later. But, like, you know, you didn't really speak English. You were kind of like a shy kid, a little reserved. All of a sudden, in 2011, you're, like, leading a full team of, like, you know, the hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I remember just every day I'd wake up, you'd be dropping, like, an unlisted video talking to the whole team.
Yeah.
You'd record a video, upload it. We'd all be commenting. Like, that's how we used to communicate.
Yeah.
I just think it was so quick that you, like, kind of broke out of your shell, and you just, like, took on the role of being a leader of such a big project.
For sure.
It was, like, natural.
Yeah, it took me, I feel like in 2012, I like kind of really broke out of my shell. Like I was starting to do that in 2011, but I started to become more just publicly like social, I guess, in 2012. But yeah, no, I was a very shy kid growing up. FaZe definitely helped that, you know, just being around people that share the same. I used to get bullied in middle school by kids that I thought were my friends and stuff, but like I didn't understand sarcasm and Brazil to Boston, like totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Like that happens a lot with like foreign kids.
100%.
Like the cool kids like make you feel like you're friends with them, but they're literally making fun of you and you can't tell. It's so sad, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all, listen, I was, when I was early in FaZe, I was not the nicest to some people either, like Mala and stuff. Like, so like it happens when you're younger, obviously. I'm sure a lot of those kids aren't bad people, but it sucks. It's just a part of like, little kid culture.
For sure.
But yeah, you exploded into the scene as like a leader. And again, if it wasn't for you, FaZe wouldn't have ever got off the ground the way it did. So,
bro, I was the first gamer to vlog themselves. Like,
in high school. I remember
was doing that. Like,
trust me, I literally couldn't. Even now, it's crazy to look back at.
I feel like Soulja Boy saying, I was the first to do this. First gamer to do this.
You're Soulja Boy of COD.
What happens next is I get my own apartment. FaZe is doing good at the time. And then that year, it was like a year where I kind of stepped off the gas because there was just so much going on in my personal life. And this is the year that BO2 dropped. So this is like a massive year for Call of Duty.
Yeah, like 2012.
Especially competitive. Like that was like the best year for competitive Call of Duty, in my opinion. Like as far as like how big the scene was.
In 2011 is when FaZe's channel got monetized.
Yeah.
So we started making money.
Yeah.
I remember we were getting paid.
Yep.
I'd drop an episode on FaZe, I'd get the whole everything and make like $200.
Yeah.
Because it was $2 per 1,000 views.
Yep.
Every video was around 100K.
Yep.
You get like $200 to $300.
Mm-hmm.
So you paid everyone completely for their episode at the time.
Yep.
So how did you make money early on? And how did your mom react to you making money when it really got monetized?
Well, I would get, I think, money from Ilcams and my own stuff. And my mom used to always take my Xbox away when I wouldn't perform well in school.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got my first paycheck, stopped taking my Xbox. She wouldn't touch my Xbox.
Oh yeah.
And so
she was supportive when you started making money?
Yeah. And then, things just kept happening. I remember I was making good money at the time. Like, at the time, no one was making money on the internet. Like, it wasn't even a thing. And so when we got offered the Machinima contract, I think Hex was the one, shout out Hector. He was the one that like recommended us to Machinima, and we started getting paid, and that was nice. And in 2012, just finished high school, just got my first car, and it was like a 2009 BMW 335.
I've gotten a ticket in that car before.
Banks also rear-ended someone in a drive-through in that car. Like,
that's a legendary car.
Yeah, it's been 7 years until it got totaled and stuff. But
so it grew. FaZe grew. We probably crossed around 1 million subscribers somewhere in this point.
Yep.
Money's coming in. You drop merch.
Yep.
Right. I'm sure you were the one that led that whole project. But we had sniping with style merch is what it was called. A lot happened, and then 2012. Is when Black Ops 2 came out.
Yep.
By that time, CBass was in, and he was kind of really running the day-to-day.
Yeah.
And was Banks in? Maybe not yet.
Not yet. And then
Banks joined during 2013, I think.
Yep.
Like, again, you were the main guy leading 24/7. 2011, 2012, I think, up until maybe Black Ops 2. Around that area, you kind of, like, took a back seat, right?
I told CBass, I'm like, I promoted him to also a leader because he was a co-leader. And I was like, I just got a lot of stuff going on. I want you to kind of, like, help manage this stuff and kind of take a leader role. And so I just moved to an apartment, had a girlfriend at the time, my first ever girlfriend, and I was just doing dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Like distracting myself, partying, all that stuff. Really just like, I just took my focus out of FaZe a little bit. I would still play, but that's pretty much all I would do. I wasn't even like really tapped in like that.
Yeah, you were kind of like off the grid.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember. I don't remember. My memory's not too good, but I definitely remember like it. What like again, you were the guy, and then there was a period in time where you were just really like we barely saw you, barely talked to you. Yeah, and CBass was like
running the show, and it got pretty bad. Like CBass was just like making a lot of people upset. A lot of people were pissed, like just the way he was running it.
I actually 2013. I love CBass. Like I'm one of the people that
I'm
not gonna hate on CBass ever. I know a lot of people do now.
Yeah,
it's like a thing in the COD community too.
Yeah.
We all made mistakes. That's my perspective.
Sure.
I love CBass. I still talk to him here and there. Not as much, but I've texted him here and there. But I had beef with him back in 2013. I left FaZe for like a day in 2013 because of CBass.
Yep.
And I remember messaging you. Like you were still like, like that's how I know you were still there and you were still like the guy at the top. So like, if I'm reaching out to you, it was like a last resort. But I remember messaging you and I'm like, bro, like I can't deal with CBass. Like I'm leaving because of CBass.
Yeah,
And I think me and you got on a call and like,
I like that Metal Gear Solid noise, like what's going on? I was like, hold on, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I had to take a deeper dive into it. You explained to me what's going on, and I was just like, yo, like I think Banks was a part of it at that point, and I've got you and Banks, like you guys both were explaining to me, I think, what was going on, and that's when I realized, okay, like these are people that understand FaZe and that like really like can help facilitate all this stuff, and I just brought you guys closer in. I felt like, okay, these people kind of earned their keep already. Like Apex for sure. Banks too, I can see as someone that can like help lead this. And I just brought you guys in closer. Like I was like.
So Banks joined in 2013.
Yep.
And then you and Banks moved into an apartment 2014?
2014 in February. I told him in 2013 in November to move in with me when my roommate moved out. I said, yo, my roommate just moved out. I got a room here. Like, you should come live with me.
Because you were both in Boston, so that was like a very important moment in FaZe's history because I feel like that's the way you kind of got back. You came back in to FaZe also. Yeah. You were kind of out of the loop.
For like a year.
Until 2014 when you moved in with Banks and then eventually moved into the New York house. Going into New York house, do you remember how that, like from your perspective, how did that form?
So when he first moved in with me, he didn't want to live with me at the time in November just because like he couldn't afford it. And then February comes around and he's like, dude, like I just can't afford it. Like, and I'm like, yo, don't worry about it. We're just gonna work on this FaZe every day and don't worry about rent. Like I got it. And so he moves in and his mission from the jump was like, we need to get in a house together. Like that was his idea. You know, and I agreed. I was like, we should definitely do that. So the plan was to move out to Cali, get a house out there, do our thing with a lot of the, Rain, Tico, Blaze.
No, Blaze wasn't in at the time. It was just us and Sensei.
Yeah, and Sensei. That's right. Yeah.
Sensei was also living with you at the time.
That was the plan. Yeah. No, he was living in the same building.
Okay.
That was the plan. And then G Fuel was our sponsor at the time. And they were like, yo, we can get this house for you guys. Like, we'll pay for it. And we're like, what? We can live rent free. We just got to do some deliverables. Let's do it. Like, why do we pay for this ourselves? And so Banks moved with me in February of 2014. By November of 2014 is when we moved into the New York house.
Yeah, I moved in November 12th.
Yeah.
2014. You guys were there
probably like a
couple weeks. Yeah. So crazy because, again, we were in Long Island only because G Fuel was headquartered out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's hilarious. I just thought of it right now. But like literally some random G Fuel employee just found the FaZe house in New York and just decided, let's just rent this house.
Yeah.
And like how legendary that house became. So cool. That house was like $4K a month, I think. $4K a month. G Fuel covered it. Looking back, obviously, such a crazy investment by G Fuel.
Oh, insane.
Like everyone always asks, do you guys own G Fuel? Unfortunately, no. But I mean, it is what it is.
We had the opportunity to, and then the one dude that kind of just was the first domino that sent us down that bad path.
He didn't want to, really?
Yeah, you didn't even know that, huh?
No. I thought I don't know.
No, we got offered a percentage and then, he just fumbled it since he was the one.
Yeah, well, anyways, again, so many things we can look back at.
Whatever.
G Fuel's now like, I think probably close to $1 billion company. And, they did a great job.
Yeah,
that was a great pick for them to sponsor that house. But yeah, that house was iconic. I remember you guys asked me,
G Fuel was synonymous with FaZe. FaZe was synonymous with G Fuel.
It was so important at the beginning. I remember I didn't really want to move into the house low key, but then I felt like I had to because you guys really wanted to. Yeah. Obviously, I wasn't gonna not. I was like, me, you, Banks, Rain. Me and Rain were the top two at the time. I knew I had to, but like I didn't. I was comfortable in California with my friends and family. Like so.
Tico wasn't even in FaZe.
Yeah, the Tico story is crazy, and we talked about it on his podcast. But like, that's just one of the moments. Tommy, again, there's so many moments where Tommy just being a nice guy led to like people's lives being changed. I'm one of them. My story again, like you just added me as a nice guy on Skype, and that's how I ended up joining FaZe later. Tico had a dream about being in FaZe. Tommy's like, just come visit.
Bro, he had a dream that he was living in the FaZe house. He had a dream that he was living in a house with me and Banks and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
But this was before we ever publicized that we're gonna move into a house together.
I know, it's crazy.
So it made
and Tico was off the grid for a couple of years.
Tico was DJing for 2 years.
Yeah, it was out of nowhere. He messaged Tommy, hey, I had a dream that I was living with you. And Tommy said, it doesn't need to be a dream. No, another movie quote by Tommy.
I was like, it's not a dream if it ends up happening.
Yeah, that's another. That and you walking out of class, we're going to put that
I'm
in the
going
movie.
home.
I'm going home. But yeah, and then Tico literally visited from Sweden, ended up joining. So many people have these random stories where it's just like Tommy making this random, like, just nice decision led to something. So, really cool. We ended up moving in. Obviously, the FaZe House, New York. Not much we have to say about it. Like, everyone knows how cool that time was. I have a question actually for you. Like, even me thinking back, like, you weren't really in a lot of the content in the New York house.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, like, why, you know, in my head. And I can't really remember. Like, you were traveling a little bit for esports.
I definitely know. I traveled a lot for esports.
So, what was your role at the time? What were you really doing? Because, like, Banks also didn't make content in the house.
Yeah.
But he would appear in videos a little more than you did.
I was just more focused on, like, the back end of stuff, you know, and making sure like that was really it. Like all the behind the scenes stuff, you know, because it wasn't just like, yeah, content was the main thing and the reason why, you know, we really blew up, and still even to this day, it's like the main thing. People still had to run the esports, you know, I was flying out to events and stuff. I was at every Call of Duty event, you know, like, and it's crazy because we were just talking about yesterday going to the event and we like, there were no seats and like we wanted to watch our team play, and so they gave us some seats and stuff like at the very front, and like some like Green Wall fans or something like that were waiting outside for hours, I guess, that bought tickets, like felt that it was not right for us to get our own seats right in front of them. And it's like, bro, like we've been doing this for so long and we literally built the community, and it's just insane to me that like people can think that way, like that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so backwards, and it's so like, it's not an evolving mindset. It's really the opposite. It's just like very toxic, and like, I don't know, something about, bro, this, I stopped playing Call of Duty a while ago because people have that similar mindset in Call of Duty. It's a very toxic game. It's also like hyper aggressive, chaos, very chaotic. It's more chaotic than it's ever been. Bro, like, I talk all the time with you. We were having conversations yesterday, just how much better of a game CS is. And like, obviously people can have their opinions. Like, people are going to play whatever they want to play. But like, that was crazy, bro.
No, I mean, yeah, there was some drama yesterday. I was pretty surprised also to see how many people on Twitter were saying that.
Bro, some kids were going off, feeling like that was so unfair for us to get seats.
Well, now that you brought it up, like basically what happened is we came to watch our team, and there's a VIP area they have to buy tickets for. I guess people were there very early to get the front row seats, and they basically added a chair or a row for us in the front. Me, Tommy, Swag, Kason, Scope.
And then we had a couple extra chairs.
Yeah. So they added a row for us in the front to watch our team because there was no. I mean, yeah. So people were mad about that. I guess. I mean, I can understand. I guess like, okay, we were there early to get the front row, but like, I don't think it really changed much.
But if we were random,
and we're watching our team,
if we were random people, like let's just say we're random celebrities, that's like, you know what I mean. But this is literally like,
we've been at events like that since 2012.
Since for me, since 2011. You know what I'm saying?
It's like obviously we haven't been in a while, but I don't know, like. The overwhelming messaging that we got where people were hyped, like, oh my God, we're glad. I'm not acting like, hey, you guys should be happy we're at the event. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying most people were happy to see us, and they were like, wow, so cool to see you guys at events. But I was pretty shocked to see how many people were really pissed about that. Again, I can understand if I woke up at 6 a.m.
That was like,
I guess I could feel it, but I also don't really think we took anything away from the people there.
Bro, I mean, there's just some
like Kason was screaming at people, but they're all saying they're chanting F you, Kason. So like there's like a meme between him and the optics.
It makes no sense because it's not like we're blocking their like, oh, so now you're not like, the only thing is you're not the very first people on the camera anymore. Like that's the only thing, because we're not blocking your view. And by the screen's up there, you know, so you're watching the game is right in front of you.
And by the way, we didn't like, they were asking us to film. Like we didn't even go trying to film ourselves or anything. Like when Call of Duty saw us there, they wanted to film because again, why wouldn't they? It's good content for them. Like, you know, the team's here.
These kids are losing it. It was like male Karen energy. It was very like,
I don't know. I don't know too much about what happened. I can understand, I guess, in some ways.
It makes me not want to.
I also don't think we did anything crazy, but anyways.
We didn't.
Whatever. Right? But you're right. You were traveling a lot back in New York times, 2013. Esports, merch, branding, that's always been like, I feel like your focus above content.
Yeah.
Even till this day, like I said, you designed that drop.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to you. I was playing CS with you like last week. And you're like, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to wake up to watch the boys scrim. I'm like, dude, you were in deep watching them scrim offline. You know what I mean? Like, especially Counter-Strike. Trust me, I feel you. Watching Counter-Strike, it literally feels like having like a professional like soccer team.
Literally. No, literally.
But yeah, you've always you know, leaned, I think, more towards being the face of like the esports and the branding. And I think everyone, like that's my opinion is that's how people like when they see you, that's like literally the face of FaZe. That's why I love to see you at events.
Yeah.
I don't go as much. I would love to as well. Hopefully we could do more. A lot of them are unfortunately are different countries. Like
I feel the same about you too, by the way. Like you showing up to events, you care about that stuff. Like you
Yeah.
enjoy it. You know, it's a natural thing for you.
I want to start watching more again too, because like I kind of fell out of watching esports for a little bit, but
Yeah.
like especially Counter-Strike, brother, my body, my heart, it's hard to watch. But like, yeah, the problem is with Counter-Strike specifically is like they're in like random countries that are like
Mhm.
you know, a 2-day travel to get there. One time I went to Poland for Katowice. It's a big event. Literally, like we left. By the time we landed, our team was eliminated.
Oh yeah,
That's the thing about
that's the
Counter-Strike
worst.
too. It's like
That's the worst, bro.
you have to make it on Friday to the playoffs on Saturday. So
Yeah.
like imagine flying all the way to Poland. I went with Rain. I remember that Rain never went on another trip after that because we went to Poland.
Yeah.
We got stopped at the airport because someone did like a bomb threat call about Rain when we were going to the airport. We had like the Polish CIA or FBI like at our hotel.
I remember
They
that.
went through our hotel when we were out of the room. It was like a crazy experience. All that, and by the time we got there, we were eliminated. So our team didn't even play. It was like no
I
way
can
we
imagine.
just traveled. We took off like 3 days from making videos, which was like the main thing for us.
Yeah, yeah.
And like we didn't even make it. So you know, the major in June, it's gonna be in Austin. We're definitely gonna be there. And,
Hopefully our team makes playoffs.
hopefully they'll make the playoffs this
If not, we're just gonna watch other teams, but it'll still be Counter-Strike.
yeah,
bro.
but I think both of us, like, especially after this weekend, I think we both hope that we can do a lot more events this year. So
Yeah.
I'm down, especially if you're there. We'll do some more. But yeah, I think without you, our esports probably would have never continued. I mean, you're the one that wanted to get a COD team in the first place. You're so close with all the guys, like even to this day, because you always were there at the events.
Yeah.
All the pros, like you know all of them pretty well. The scene's pretty tight. Like and when you visit, you see like after the event, everybody's hanging out together in the
For
hotel.
sure. It's just like
Yeah.
boys hanging out,
Yeah.
locker room energy.
So living in the FaZe house, obviously, again, that was like the most important year in FaZe's history, right? How did that change like how you thought about FaZe? I guess transitioning to LA, like how did FaZe change for you in your head? Like we moved in there, not really knowing. Our content kind of exploded in there. We went away from gaming. We did a little more IRL stuff. We ended up not in the FaZe house, but a year later we got a CS team. So like we took that a little more serious. But like, what changed for you being in that house, like mindset wise?
It was just cool because the New York house was the most it was the most beautiful creation that FaZe had. I feel like we were the first content house. It was something so iconic looking back at, you know, but at the time it was just like the numbers started going crazy. Every morning we'd wake up, have breakfast together, talk about what videos we're gonna make, help each other out with content throughout the day and stuff. And like every single day we're all posting videos. Well, you guys are all posting videos and I'm just helping out where I can and stuff. And then millions of views every single day, like just like are being generated. And so things just started going fast, you know, it started moving really fast. And it was just nice that we all lived together. Because when Banks moved in, it was a big breath of fresh air when it was just me and him.
Then you can really focus when you have someone else.
Yeah.
When everyone around you is like, you know, for you, you're a little off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
But when everyone next to you is also focusing on FaZe, like it's hard to not be connected. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So for you, it was probably the best. I mean, for all of us, it was the best thing ever in some way. I think especially for you though, if you
Yeah.
never moved in, you probably would have got back into FaZe.
I mean, yeah.
Like in that
We'll never
that deep, yeah.
for
right?
sure,
Yeah.
sure. New York was a massive success. Then we moved out to LA.
How do you feel about that? The move to LA. Not looking back, but how did you feel? Forget about what happened in LA, but I remember like I low-key feel like right away, even before like you know, I think LA, the Newport house was actually pretty good overall. I actually think
Yep.
it was a pretty good house. There was like an energy shift
Mhm.
instantly, even with our fan base.
Yep.
Like I feel like the New York house was so special. That energy did not translate like right away at all.
No.
And I don't know why. Like it's very weird to me. Even forget about like again, months in, like I get it. The content was different stuff. But even right from the beginning, like right away, right when we left the house, everything felt different. I don't know why. There was like an aura. I don't like that word, but there really was like an aura in New York.
I love that word. I know it's overused, but it's
Yeah, that's why
a great word.
No, but like it like disappeared the second we moved. I felt like, and I don't really know what happened, but how did you feel about that? I was happy to go to California because my family. How did you feel about that move?
From outside looking in, I can't really like speak on that, but inside looking out, it was tough because that was when Banks was dealing with all his stuff,
Yeah, true.
you know, and so he wasn't like, you know, off rip, he wasn't a part of it.
Yeah, he wasn't involved. At this time, we had a CEO running the company. Banks wasn't involved anymore.
Yeah, he kind of that CEO was the one that kind of like first came in and started this trend of divide and conquer, where he kind of started pinning us against each other in a way. Like first it started with Banks, and then it was like kind of like when Banks started going sick and like all that stuff started happening. Like the narrative was being created by this guy saying like, yo, like he can't be a part of this. Like, you know, it's just too bad and stuff. And we started to believe it, and we, you know.
Yeah, so Banks didn't move in with us to Newport.
Yeah, he didn't move in with us. He moved back to Boston, and he was living with his parents again. And
he wasn't a part of FaZe.
Yeah, he wasn't a part of FaZe. Like, and he just had to figure it out for himself, and he did.
So this is around like FaZe 2.0, quote unquote, right?
Yeah, this is FaZe 2.0.
That new colored logo came out.
Mm-hmm.
We acquired a Counter-Strike team, which the CEO did. You got to give him props for that. It was a big move at the time. You know, like we got the team, kind of expanded esports. It was kind of like he raised money, I think, at that point. The company was like forming to a corporate company, and we were already a little detached from it. And also the content output started kind of slowing down. It's never easy to move into a new house, especially across country, and getting settled in. Yep. All those things at once. You know, I think in the next couple months we started making good content again, and like the vibes kind of went back up, but like nothing was ever the same. Did you start making more content in that house, or how did your role change when we moved to LA?
It didn't change too much. I was making more content though. I was streaming, making some videos. Didn't change much though. I was still going to events and stuff like that. I was still flying to Norway and all that.
Yeah, Norway. Yeah, you were like esports.
Dude, 1 year I flew to Norway 10 times.
That's crazy. It sucks. This guy literally ruined I don't have anything against Norwegians, but like every time I hear Norway, I just like get it like a because of him.
Yeah, I mean,
I went to Norway once.
Love Norway. This dude, like, I don't care to necessarily go back just because if I ever see this dude again, I don't want to be around this guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So you know, whatever. We've talked enough about that guy and. Yeah, what he did. Again, some good came out of him, a lot of bad. But anyways, what was the first moment that you kind of felt like we were going in a bad direction, you know, with the corporate stuff?
That's a good question. Oh man, I never really thought about that, but thinking on it now.
I mean, we all kind of felt weird about him. I think it was 2018 is when this OG CEO got kicked out by the people he hired. Yeah. Because they caught him stealing money. Yeah. Right. And that's when we all kind of got reunited for the first time in the office with the other former CEO who, you know, I also don't want to talk about that guy, but not a fan. And the lawyer at the time. So, and an old investor. So like we got brought into this house with the new guy that took over as CEO, the lawyer, and the investor. And they kind of reset it up. Very weird.
It was all
people don't understand how we weren't involved, and I can't really explain it. But like,
it makes like when you tell the story, it's like
how did you guys not know?
Why wouldn't you be like? Why did you just give up control? It wasn't like we had a choice anymore.
When this guy, basically, when the first CEO started raising money, it's like GGs. You know what I mean? Like, there's a board, there's money. These guys like have power now, and there's a whole lawsuit we didn't even talk about, but like we literally almost own 0% of the company. Yeah, like we signed our shares away basically. Yeah. Unknowingly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many contracts that that we've signed, not like literally just signing. We don't even know what we're signing.
Yeah, we're just getting...
It's stupid. But,
we trusted the dude. And
when you trust someone and you're focusing on your own content and like, I don't know. But we basically unknowingly signed away our shares to form a new company. This is after Banks was back in and Rice Gum and the Clout House. Like we were going to kind of like make a new holding company and merge the three.
And one person didn't sign and like that. So the agreement wasn't formed because it needed all this agreement.
Yeah, but we literally like for like a couple of years of building FaZe, us owning it was kind of in the air. Like there was a big chance we were going to own 0% of it. Finally, that got settled with the lawsuit. And, you know, there's this new corporate environment that we kind of stepped into. We started going to this office. I always tell a story how like nobody knew who I was when I went to the office the first time. We had all these employees. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know anything about FaZe, but they were just there. Yeah. You know, thankfully, like we started showing up. We started doing weekly meetings. We got pretty involved. Then, you know, the whole vibe changed. Again, a lot of good that came out of the corporate early on. A lot of bad. Fortnite came out.
A lot of broken promises and like
to this day, bro. I was thinking about it yesterday. Like, there's like so many things. Like, I was like, oh, you know, when we also even kind of somewhat recently, we had a deal and like we were promised something. I'm like, what happened with that? That didn't. Yeah. It's pretty weird, brother. But
I mean, now we're a lot more alert and aware of this stuff.
Yeah.
But back then we were just like very stupid and just had no idea what was going
Yeah,
on.
it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, is there a time where you felt like
Definitely, like, for right now, since I can't think of anything earlier, definitely when you know, this person got kicked out, when he got removed because
Yeah.
he was stealing money, and like a lot of money, and I was just like, wait, hold
oh
on.
you were pretty close with him too
Yeah, you
at
know,
the time, especially like because again you traveled a lot.
bro,
Like
he helped me with personal stuff. I know he helped Banks with personal stuff. Like he was like very involved in our lives, and we were in his too, and you know. And so as soon as he got removed, I was like, hold on, what?
yeah,
And then
not just removed, but like hey, he's stealing money
oh, he stole so much money.
and like other stuff. Like yeah, but that's like the first major betrayal I think in FaZe for
We
us.
used to show up to these meetings like every week. It was me, you, Rain, Banks, and we'd have these amazing ideas. We would talk about, you know, this is what we want to do. We want to sign these people. I remember when we talked about AMP when they were first coming up, and we're like, yo, we got to sign these people. Like, and it got signed off on, like it was going to happen. And
One employee
and then one
had an
employee
ego.
yeah, I guess he had an ego, and you know, AMP, they asked for a little bit more than what we wanted to give them, but we literally told them like, yo, if they want more, like let's bring these people in. This is way before they started streaming. They were just making YouTube.
This is like 2019. I've looked at the text. I'm the one that not even like that. I don't care for credit, but I literally found them. And I remember I asked Bronny. This is after Bronny was in. I was like, "What do you think about AMP?" He's like, "Yeah, I love him." And like, we're cool. Here's this group. We got on a call. We used to be on phone calls with the whole team, and they were like hella excited to join.
Yeah.
And then yeah, one employee had like some ego because like the AMP's manager was his former coworker, and it was just some ego thing. Like, nah, I'm not signing them for.
Wow.
We're getting them for free, or we're not signing them, and we're like, let's just pay them. Like,
Yeah.
it was just some weird thing.
He dropped the ball, right? And like
Same thing, by the way, with Beta Squad.
yeah.
I also, when you boxed
I remember.
Kenny, I remember I came up and you're like, what are they even talking about?
Right.
But like, there was a point in time where I brought up Beta Squad also.
Yeah, I remember that.
I went to Saudi. There's like teams in Saudi that I tried to, like, we had a lot of moves that would have been major.
A lot of moves that we don't
But
talk
like,
about.
there's just random employees literally that either didn't do it or.
They told us, yeah, this is gonna happen, and then it never happens.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it happened.
I
So
mean,
many
again,
times. We stopped showing up to the meetings. At that point, it was like, let's stop showing up to these meetings.
It was just
there's no
hectic,
point.
bro. The thing is, it's like it gets very bad when like again the company was just really big. You guys got to realize like for a lot of these people when they come into a company like FaZe, like okay, Eddie, shout out Eddie. He's a good example. He is the coach of our CS team, not the coach.
The manager.
He was actually at some point, kind of. He was on stage as a joke. But like, he's the manager of CS. He travels with them. Everyone loves him now. They call him FaZe Eddie. He started off as an accountant at FaZe, just in the office, a random accountant. Our lawyers, who usually have the most boring jobs ever, they started going to these events like the Esports World Cup, and you know they're there phasing up with us at the thing, and like they're like, you know, like it was such a cool environment. Like everybody in their life is like, oh my god, you work at FaZe. So like you're this old man that is boring.
And all of a sudden you got aura.
All of a sudden your whole family is like, no, you know, it's like so many employees would come in and they'd like they'd love the environment of being in FaZe, which is cool. Like I didn't mind it, you know, like I thought it was cool. I was happy everyone was happy.
But we didn't realize that they were also getting paid first class seats to go to these events by FaZe.
Oh,
and
brother,
like, they're also getting paid insane salaries that we had no idea about till years later, till we really restructured.
When we went and we IPO'd, I flew economy to go there because I wanted to bring my family. There are employees at FaZe that flew not just business, first class trips. They would fly. Like to this day, for this podcast, I did an episode with Ninja. I literally flew Spirit Airlines at 7 a.m. to save $500 because I didn't want. I just don't like to waste money.
Wow.
For FaZe,
Yeah.
there are employees that would waste $15,000 to go fly first class, and like they didn't do anything on those trips.
Bro, and these
So they
didn't do anything for FaZe. Most of them, like, you know what I mean? They were just kind of there, like, it's like, what did, bro?
And then it started really getting out of hand, or they're like literally like the old CEO started gifting random people FaZe chains. Like getting a FaZe chain was pretty special.
Or FaZe shares.
Yeah, FaZe shares even worse. Yeah, Snoop Dogg, shout out. Anyways, I don't want to even think about it or talk about it, but yeah, it just got it got out of hand because people started not really working and they just started loving the energy and the attention of being in FaZe. So unfortunately, it led to a lot of things.
And by then, we were so disconnected because like we just stopped showing up to these meetings because they wouldn't listen, or like they would say that they would do stuff and they never did it.
It was weird. It's just
and so like the company still had to be run, and so they were running it now without us being there because we didn't trust these guys, and it was like that we couldn't just remove them, and then
I was there most of the time, in and out. Like you guys are kind of
you were the one that like kind of
I tried to remain connected so we never completely got disconnected.
Yeah.
And I did, and Later when we went like IPO'd, it got really bad. We're like, I even got disconnected. Can't change anything.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
Pros and cons of all of it, but it was an interesting few years. For you, you got into boxing.
Yeah.
Somewhere in this. So what was that like? Like a boxing, you had a whole boxing career out of nowhere. I mean, everyone always talks about you have this background in martial arts, which I don't think it's necessarily like you did Taekwondo, right?
I did Taekwondo and then I did Muay Thai a little bit.
Muay Thai, but that's where you met Sensei,
Mm-hmm.
FaZe Sensei, who was his former roommate. Then he moved to the FaZe house. His name's Sensei because he's literally like an 8th. What is he at this point? Like a 7th degree black belt or something. He's literally a sensei. Like he goes to this day. He teaches martial arts as a sensei. So he joined because he was Tommy's. Another story where he was literally Tommy's coach, and Tommy was just, you want to move in with us? And like he just moved
FaZe
in.
Fitness, like FaZe
FaZe Fitness. Sensei got this whole career out of it because the Tommy like just being a nice Sensei is the GOAT. I love you, Sensei.
Yeah,
he just had a kid too. Congrats to him. But yeah, so you did a little bit of Taekwondo, but yeah, you got into boxing. So what made you want to step into that? Like, you know, obviously YouTube boxing is a thing.
I saw these influencers start doing it, you know, and like KSI was the first one, and then saw Jake doing it, and like this was something that I always kind of did. I never did boxing, but I felt like both my worlds collided, you know, martial arts, which I always loved, and then influencers, like the influence, like these creators and stuff. It just clashed, and it just felt like this is my time to get into this stuff. And so I started learning boxing. Went to this gym for the first year and a half before I switched gyms to a different coach and stuff, and you know, picked it up. And I remember my first fight. It was Kenny. It was supposed to happen. I was supposed to fight Slim, I think, earlier on. It didn't end up. I forget what happened, but ended up fighting Kenny, and that was like, it was the time that FaZe was going downhill. Like, you know, things were. So I was we were all pretty disconnected from FaZe at the time.
You're pretty locked into boxing.
Yeah, I had to. Like,
Yeah.
Like boxing is the most humbling sport ever. You know, it's like they say you don't play boxing because it's a brutal sport. Like,
Yeah.
it takes a lot. You know, boxing, and I never looked at boxing like that. MMA was always something I enjoyed watching more because I thought it was just cooler. I didn't really appreciate boxing as much, but now that, like, after learning boxing and then just understanding it, I've developed a whole different, it's like, if you're going to compare, you know, I mean, it's more of a chess game. It's a lot more methodical. It's a lot more endurance. Like, it really is. And it's tough, bro. It's a very tough sport. A lot of people die boxing, and some people that don't die, they get brain damage and stuff like that, you know, and it's not a joke, you know. And a lot of these guys, it's insane, bro. A lot of these fighters, they don't get paid anything.
Yeah.
Like, they barely get paid, you know. So to the people that really make money from it, like, you got to be a high level pro boxer to make a lot of money. Even like high level MMA fighters, they don't make a lot of money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. They get paid completely different. But it was cool. It was a very tough thing. I really spent all my time and energy into it. I took it very serious. I was training and sparring against pros and stuff, like some pros that were like 240 pounds, like heavyweight, big dudes, you know, 6'5". Like, it was crazy, you know, like the sparring days were insane, like, especially like later on in my career. Even though it was just 3 years, it was like a heavy 3 years of my life. And when I fought Kenny, it was a really cool experience because that was both of our debut fights.
Yeah.
It was in London. He had all the fans, you know, like, and I think we both started, I think he was boxing before me. Like, I think I had like several months less experience boxing than him, but I did have a martial arts background. So I knew Muay Thai a little bit, whatever. And I dominated the fight. You know, it was 5 rounds, 2-minute rounds each. I won 4-1. You know, like, it was clear. You know what I mean? Like, there's a possibility I could have won all 5 rounds, but I'll give him that one round that he showed some life in. It was very clear to me that I won. And then at the very end, they're reading off the scores, and it's like way too close. And I'm just like, hold on, what? When the judge, the referee's like the last score, like, there's a picture of me and Kenny, and like,
He was shocked.
we were both shocked, but I was like this, I was like, and he was like,
I remember watching that, bro. I remember tweeting at Kenny.
bro,
And like, no way. Like, and by the way, he replied to my tweet or something. I don't remember what he said, but like, he was clearly shocked he won that fight too.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And like, he was jumping up
The
and
whole
down,
Twitter, I remember it on Twitter.
it was
I
up
mean,
in
you
flames.
were in the ring.
It was up in flames.
Everyone on Twitter was like, no way you just got robbed. And that obviously happens all the time. I remember, obviously, like, you know, there's going to be some slight bias if I'm watching, but it wasn't. Everyone felt like he got robbed. I remember that. And then the same thing happened when Kenny boxed Sensei.
Oh my God, that story is crazy. Okay?
And I couldn't.
That story is crazy. So let me we're about to get into that. So just to wrap this up, I was robbed, humiliated, embarrassed. I was feeling all these emotions, and it took me so long. It took me like 2 weeks to process through all that before like I just couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? My moment was taken from me. My moment of like, it was taken from me. And then a rare case happened of where they overturned me. You know, we appealed it. They overturned it. That was taken from me. That sucked, man. That really sucked.
But they ended up overturning it, which obviously it's nice to get the dub. Like
Still
you
got
said,
my moment
Your moment
taken
got
from me.
taken, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they don't overturn stuff in boxing. That rarely happens. You know, I felt that my last fight that I got elbowed in was like, that was unfair. Like you don't elbow people in boxing. And like, that's kind of what it all went downhill fast. My last fight, you know, if I would have won that fight, I would have continued fighting. But it got to the point where it was like, dude, I'm like really taking a lot of damage to my brain. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is not a joke.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I had like seizures when I was 2 years old. My mom thought I was gonna die and stuff. And like, when I was younger and her and I used to butt heads and stuff, like I used to smash my head on the wall and stuff. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I dealt with anger. Like, I think like subconsciously I picked the name Temperr because it aligned with who I was, right?
Really?
And so like, you know, most people saw me as a calm dude, but if like I have like, you know, I definitely had like anger issues growing up, and like it's something that I got a lot better with. Like as a man now, as a father now, like something that I really took a dive into to just be better at, because it's a weakness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not something that I ever want my son seeing
Yeah.
and normalizing, thinking that it's okay, because it's not. There are other ways to solve it. It's just all about healthy communication and just like breathing and just taking a step back. Like, okay, you know, this isn't like, we're not understanding this. Let's agree to disagree.
Yeah.
We can talk about this later. Cool heads prevail, right?
Yeah.
So going back to the boxing stuff, it got overturned. You know, that was cool and all. So I was 1-0. Fast forward to my second fight. That was like, so my first fight was in March. Second fight was August 27th, a couple of days after my birthday. And it was supposed to be Blueface.
Yeah.
I was going to fight Blueface.
Yeah.
And about 2 weeks before, Blueface gets removed from, he's banned from fighting because he got in a fight with his girl.
Yeah.
Right. And so Slim takes the fight.
Yeah.
So now I'm fighting Slim. Slim's been boxing for way longer than me already, like a couple years prior. Definitely had more experience than me, but I was like, you know, I still want to fight. And I really felt like I could have beaten him, like for sure. Sensei was fighting in the undercard. He was fighting the fight either right before me or 2 fights before me. And when I'm in the locker room, like after I wrapped up, got my gloves on, and I'm warming up, or like as I'm warming up, I turn the TV on just to watch his fight. I didn't care to watch anybody else's fight on that card.
Yeah.
You know, but I wanted to watch his fight because I knew he was going to dominate Kenny, which he did. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing that happened to me,
Yeah. That was crazy.
where I got robbed from my victory, happened to Sensei. Sensei is my boy, the nicest dude who you know, nicest dude, kindest, like kindest dude.
And he doesn't like he came back like out of like kind of retirement to fight again.
Yeah, right. And he definitely won the fight.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened, bro. I was livid.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I know what I felt like for 2 weeks to process through all that. And now, like, the fact that this just got in the same place in London, like the same dude, with like the same thing happened, bro. I was so mad. I was so mad. Now I'm like hitting the pads like hard, like super hard, like just like now I'm seeing red.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that is not how you don't ever want to fight like that.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, and that goes with anything. Even if you want to have a conversation, if cooler heads prevail, like if you're arguing with your girl or if you're arguing with your boys and stuff, like if you're seeing red, it's not gonna go well.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's not the way to do it. So now I'm like stepping out. I'm ready to kill Slim. Like I'm like in my head, I'm gonna like this is bull. But because I was seeing red, I was not sticking to the game plan of just like, bro, I had way more conditioning than Slim. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have just stayed my distance, maintained it, played like how I did with Kenny, and just won the fight that way. Because Slim, around that time, and even like a few fights after that, towards the end of the second round, he's gassed.
Yeah.
And then like he fights like a lot slower the next few rounds. I ended up getting clipped in the, I was just going out aggro, you know what I'm saying? Like spamming buttons. You know?
Yeah.
And eventually he gets me, and I'm back on the ropes, and I had this like my defense wasn't all there, and like when I would get to the ropes, I would kind of keep my chin up.
Yeah.
Back then, and so he ended up just catching me because my chin was up. Like you always want to keep it down, and if you're you don't ever want to stay by the ropes, like unless you're Muhammad Ali and you just know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Like the ropes are not a good place to the ropes are not your friend. You just want to move out the ropes, stay small movements, moving out the way, rotating and stuff, and got clipped. And towards like midway through the second round, it was like right as he was getting gas too, but then I was just out and that was it, you know? And now it's like, that was a different level of humiliation. Seeing me, you know what I'm saying? Like 4K just like on the ground, like just like, it was not,
Yeah.
that was tough, you know? And, you know, Slim was definitely the better fighter that night. No, I'm not saying like I deserved to win that. I'm just saying I was seeing red long before I stepped out in the ring.
So you mentioned that like, I don't want to say fear, but or like you were worrying about brain damage, but like, is that why you ended up stopping?
Yeah.
'Cause you just take, yeah.
You know, because it was like I did it for the passion. Like I did it just for legacy. I did it because I wanted to pursue something like, you know, and then it was nice. I made like decent money from it.
Yeah.
You know, made some good money from it, but didn't want to keep doing it just because like, you know, like I don't want to keep getting hit and
Yeah.
like I have my son to like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no need to jeopardize it, bro. People die in the ring, you know,
Yeah.
people. And if I've seen people turn into vegetables, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a hard thing to watch. Like,
Yeah.
so I can't imagine that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
bro, it's tough. Like I've seen some like crazy stuff, man. Like,
Yeah.
so that's not a road I want to go. I want to live. I want to be there for my son his whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to.
I think I've never like not never. I mean, I think early on your mentality was very locked in, but I think you probably got so much out of those few years, like from training as much as you did. I think mentally it got you very locked in, like
For
as
sure.
a human.
For sure.
I think so. A lot of benefit. I could see it as your friend, like how much it changed you. I think
Yeah.
your mindset.
Yeah. Discipline, everything. Honestly, yeah, it saved me in a way. It got me like, cause I was just like, for a while when FaZe was dying, there was nothing else going on. I'm just partying, you know what I'm saying? Like doing
It's
that.
hard. It's hard when you don't have like something to go like achieve, you know, or like or your purpose is kind of stripped away.
Exactly.
So it's like, a lot of people don't know what to do.
Boxing gave me that. Boxing gave me my first sense of purpose, and then soon after I met my fiance, and like she really helped turn me into a man. You know what I'm saying? Like she grew up in a very nice family. Yeah, you know.
I think that those few years like changed you big time.
Yeah.
Like, now I feel like you're like at your mental prime, probably
100%.
And physical, I guess too. Do you still train? Like you were obviously training.
I was still being
all day, every
consistent.
day.
Yeah, I was still being consistent. I play soccer once a week, and now I just because I'm like really just focused on my grind and inside and just being like being a father. I average like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, and that's not good. I'll try to squeeze naps every once in a while, but when I do my best to be a dad.
Yeah.
Also take care of the house when I can, but also because we don't have like nannies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We just want to raise our kid ourselves. And And so
I respect it, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, no shots at anyone that gets a nanny. Like everyone's situation is different. I think even in our industry, like just kind of like the go-to for people, which is that's not how my family is either. Like that's not a norm for me.
Right.
Again, everyone's different. Some people don't have a choice, but
no, I mean, if you got to do it, you got to do it, and if it works
but it's
out
also some people like just do it because it's easier.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure it's hard. I'm sure a lot of your time is taken now.
100%.
With your son, yeah.
And it was tough too, moving to the Midwest, being away from everybody. When FaZe, like my last year boxing, my third year, like FaZe started being on the up again. And FaZe got revitalized. Banks crushed it, like leading the new wave and creating that environment for everybody, bringing the new guys in. These guys are absolutely crushing it. I wish that I could be there more, you know what I'm saying? But it's just tough right now. And so my first few months, it took me a few months to settle into the new house. And then I also had to kind of pivot and figure out what I wanted to do. And I just thought about it. Okay, what did I used to do? I used to focus on esports, but I also used to design. And I'm like, wait, I could just get back into designing, and took a couple months to like really learn these programs like Illustrator and like really like learned it. Now I'm confident that I can digitize and create literally any product. Like I can take anything and make it into a product, like digitally, and then I have someone that I work with that brings it to life.
Yeah.
That has all the connects to the manufacturers, that knows, you know, what's what, and so like that's my guy, Chase. Like he's like,
you guys crushed it. The drop you just did.
yeah, you know, thank you. And
So
dude,
sick.
it came out. I was when I saw it in person, because it was made like that was ordered like 3-4 months before that. When I saw it in person, I was shocked. Like the quality, I was like, no way, this is crazy. This is like,
you literally from A to Z brought it to life. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
That's different. That's a different feeling.
for sure.
I mean, because you've been a part of the merch in the past, but like to actually sit there and design it and like
Yeah,
draw it out,
Yeah,
and then animate it, and
I love that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like it's like it feels like therapeutic for me. It's like I always grew up drawing and stuff like that, so I love that. I do that during the day, and then at night, like I'll stream and stuff, like when I can. After I put my son to sleep, after, you know what I mean, whenever I can. But
you stream it. Yeah, I think it's nice to like find a way to also get involved again. Like you said, I've been a little disconnected as well from the new phase.
Yeah,
because also like again, like you said, Banks is crushing it.
yeah. Dude, Adapt felt super disconnected when the streamers first came on.
Yeah, and Adapt. Yeah, you can't force it. You know,
Yeah,
like
it's gotta
Adapt.
happen.
I'm so happy to see Adapt naturally squeeze in.
Same.
I think for both of us, it's like
He's in his prime right now.
he is.
He
Like
really
in
is.
prime. Adapt, the GOAT, man. I love him so much.
Yeah.
So happy.
One of the realest people like I've met
Yeah.
in my life.
Same.
Genuinely.
He's such a good dude. But I'm like, I know like for me, this show was a way I kind of started just because I needed to find something to do too.
100%.
And I'm like, I think it could be beneficial for FaZe if I do it the way that I envisioned it too.
Yeah.
And like now I'm gonna focus a little more on trying to build up the gaming side of FaZe again. Banks literally told them like he wants me to like help focus on bringing that back up. Obviously together we're gonna focus on esports, and I think both of us are kind of finding our things to make an impact again, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because again, you could just kind of, for me, I just been kind of waiting to see where the dust settles. Because it's like, again, like some things you just, you know, there's been periods of time where you were completely running everything fully in charge early on. At some points, I was the one out of the 4 that was like, doing everything. And right now it's been Banks, and it's just like that's just kind of how it feels. And I think naturally we all find our way back in. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you found like a path that you're enjoying, just
sure.
designing and streaming and like being a part of esports.
And likewise, bro, you've been crushing it with the podcast. I've been seeing it. Like it's cool to see all the different guests you brought on, and just like the clips and all the stories.
I appreciate it. It's been fun. It's been a little stressful though because I can't get guests, bro.
Yeah.
I don't got that. I'm not as cool anymore. Not anymore. I was never that cool, but all these big streamers and stuff, brother, I'm spamming them. But
yeah.
we'll try it. I appreciate you coming.
No,
I got you in Dallas while you're on a trip, so
for sure. I mean,
no, but it's fun. It's been
think-
fun. It's
I
been a fun
think
experience. Yeah,
It'll help too. You going to these events and stuff. Like it'd be
For
cool
sure,
for you
sure.
to like, bro, bring in like some CS players. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. No, it's been fun to experiment, try some things out, and like I'm very interested. Some of the future plans that we have at FaZe, like for the first time in a while, it's like okay, like we're really like back to building towards something, and there's plans to build stuff that I'm like, cool, I can get involved and help this
You
again.
should do one with Kerrigan.
With who?
Kerrigan.
The GOAT, brother.
Should
Maybe
do
when
one
he
with
like
Kerrigan.
retires or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to. Kerrigan's such a good dude. We got to play, you kind of briefly mentioned it, but these guys are boot camping here in Dallas for the next month till the major. And we went to where they're boot camping, and we got to play CS. We're playing CS with Kerrigan and Frozen. That was sick.
Bro,
Legendary.
That's like
That's like a top, that's like an experience that.
Oh, that was for me. That was my ultimate highlight playing Counter Strike, and I love Counter Strike. You do too. Like,
I love Counter-Strike. That was really cool.
bro, and the way it happened too was because it was my fiance's birthday, and she was actually supposed to be here with me in Dallas, and things happened, and she wasn't able to come. But she was supposed to go out that night with her friend who also had the same birthday. She got sick, so she couldn't go out anymore. And I just felt bad. I'm like, my fiance's just at home chilling, like bored on her birthday. Like, I was like, hey, because she's played CS before, right? And like she's played 10-mans with us and stuff. I was like, hey, come play CS. Like, we're gonna do a little 10-mans, you know. And then got everybody to say happy birthday to her, which, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
cool, yeah.
It's just like, but it was awesome that Kerrigan and Frozen were playing. You
Yeah,
know, like
they're really nice, man. They're such good guys.
Yeah, dude, they're amazing.
Thank God I went. I was in my hotel.
Oh, I know.
K-Song called me. He's like, "Where are you at?" I'm like, "In my hotel." He's like, "Come play." I'm like, "Brother,
I'll never forget the look when
it's
you were
a 30-minute
right next to
Uber,
me.
bro." And I was like, "I don't know if I want to do a 30-minute Uber at 11 p.m. right now to play CS."
Yeah,
But I'm so glad I did. Yeah.
for sure.
What'd you say?
I'll never forget the moment when you were sitting next to me on land. We had like 6 setups like over here with them, and you're next to me, and like the look on your face, like, you know what I mean? That's how I felt. Like it's like the
I
little,
love CS like you, bro. That was fun, man.
Yeah, and
that was like
it was a top for me. It was easily a top 5 FaZe moment.
especially like again, our CS team is like those guys are like superstars.
Yeah,
Obviously, we've known Kerrigan for years.
Kerrigan's the GOAT IGL.
Yeah, we like he's such a good dude. But like you never know when you're meeting people. There's been people on our CS team that I've met before. The
Some
vibe was
weirdos.
not, huh?
Some weirdos for sure.
It's not weirdo, but it's just like, you know, also like a lot of these guys are from random European countries. So the culture is different.
Yeah,
Some of them don't really know much about us.
yeah,
I remember, I'll say it, it's not nothing against him. But you know,
yeah.
Alu was an old, you know, he's just kind of like this, like,
Stern.
yeah, he's not necessarily the nicest, happiest guy, not in a bad way. But I remember I went to a random event. I walked in, like, you know, they all go in the back and smoke cigs in between games. They're all pissed off. Like,
Yeah.
so I walked out there and he's like, he looked at me. This is probably when I was like, maybe like 21.
I don't know this story.
I was like 20, 21. It was when they came into California for an event. And he's like, who that? Like, he basically thought I was a random fan, like, coming, listening in on their thing. And he's like, get the F out of here or something like that. And like, I didn't take it personal because I know he doesn't, you know, like he didn't know who I was. And then Robin, the coach, was like, his face got all red. And,
that's
and
funny.
Rain was there. It was like, it got all awkward. Not FaZe, our Rain, but the CS Rain.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like, you know, like experiences like that, I'm like, bro, I just would rather not get too close because I don't want to, it's like awkward. You know what
For
I
sure.
mean? I don't expect some of them to know who we are. Like sometimes I even get surprised when they know who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're not there all the time. And,
Yeah.
but Frozen was so cool.
Oh
Like,
my God, bro.
such a
Yeah.
nice kid.
For sure.
I didn't get to see Simple. Simple has this aura too. I was kind of scared. I'm sure he's the nicest guy. But
No,
like,
he's a super chill guy.
I was like, you know, I'm sure Simple wouldn't know who I was if I showed up randomly.
Bro, you know what's
And,
funny? You know,
yeah.
my first interaction with him was I was joining a practice, and it was like when he first started playing for us. I think it was after the first practice. I watched like end of it or something, and then I watched the whole match, and then at the very end when they were done practice, I was like, "Yo, Sasha," and he's like, "Yo," I was like, "Nice to meet you, you sick," and he's like, "Hi, man," like, and he's like, "You." Like there was a disconnect there. Like
He
I don't
didn't
know.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think he understood what I was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, he responded like, "Hi, man," and then there was like a awkward little pause, and then everybody in the team
Started laughing?
started dying laughing. You know,
That's
and then
funny.
I had already followed him on Instagram, and I think either that same day or the next day he DM'd me. He followed me back and DM'd me. He's like, "What the? You're the founder, bro?"
Yeah, yeah. It's hilarious. Yeah, I
yeah,
love it. That's the thing. What I love about you is like me. I'd rather just like that's so awkward to me. It's not like I don't know. I'm just like I just don't get too deep into it because I'm like like I don't really care.
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just like I'm not. I'm a huge fan of that team, and I'll just watch from a distance. But you just go in, you know, and like you don't care. So
I mean,
it's
I
cool.
don't mess with their practice. I just like watch, like keep my mic muted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like at times, like because I'm in the game too. Right? I'm in the server, but I'm like
That's crazy.
you type .coach and it just spawns you out, and
You can watch it.
yeah. And so I'll type in the team chat sometimes, like oh, nice shot, or like the round, like after the rounds and
You're so
stuff,
funny, bro.
and like I'm sure they get hyped, you know, because I'm not being vocally distracted. I'm not interrupting the flow of the audio.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, of the game.
That's so funny to me though.
Yeah, you know, and
That you're in the practice. I love it.
yeah,
That's cool though.
But-
The
but-
CS scene is crazy. It's cool.
Yeah, I never really like interjected myself on there like unnaturally.
Yeah.
It was throughout years of 2018. I was at the Boston Major, and I remember seeing Kerrigan after it, devastated. You know, he had his earphones in, he was bawling his eyes out. You know, like he was 28 at the time, thinking like,
He's gonna retire.
yeah, you know, he has no idea how much longer. It was his first major finals, and he lost, and he always wanted to win a major, and he had no idea what was going to happen after. You know, so it's been a lot of these guys I've known forever. Like Nico, same thing. You know, Rops was a big FaZe fan back in the day. And he was, when he first saw me in a room that he was in 2017 in Cancun for the event that we won, he like came up to me. He's like, "Bro, I can't believe I'm in the same room as FaZe Temperrr right now."
Yeah, that's
know?
crazy.
But Rops is like an anomaly. Like no one came from the Call of Duty
Yeah,
scene.
Rob's
Turn.
literally one of our old pros. He's on Vitality now.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. But he literally tried out for FaZe 5 as a trick shotter. Like he has FaZe 5 trick shotting application out on YouTube. So
Yeah, he loves FaZe.
that was like a 1 in a million that he joined. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I think the team we have now is very welcoming, and
No, they're
like
amazing.
at the end of the day, these guys, people got to realize it's like the CS world. It's like professional, like soccer again. Like it's it's like very high level, and these guys move around a lot, and like they're all from different countries,
very
and like
professional.
so it's like they're just here for the business.
Yeah.
Not business in a bad way, but they're here to perform. And like they're on teams, like FaZe is very unique where there's like content creators and like it's like a different brand. Most brands are not like that. Most of the teams they've played for, they've only talked to like suits in the back and like, you know, like
Yeah.
so it's kind of like a weird, it's not for everyone probably. Some people probably don't care. Like they probably don't want anything to do with the content.
And Kerrigan owns it. Like Kerrigan, Rain, but like Kerrigan especially. Like, he wears the FaZe flag. Like I would say like better than anybody. You know what I mean? In the esports world, like this dude like loves FaZe, reps it so hard.
He's always been super nice to us too.
Loves the fans. He's always
So shout out Rain too. We got a shot.
Bro, Rain is the GOAT.
Rain's the GOAT. Rain is the last FaZe member from the original roster. Guy's been holding it down for 9 years now.
Yeah.
He just had a second kid. Congrats to him. He's flying in now.
He got here last night.
So, you know,
RCS
team has been such a cool experience, and you know, I'm excited. You know, I hope we can figure this out with Simple.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
And then like
we'll see.
We'll see what the future holds.
We'll
bro.
see what happens.
I'm excited. CS is really cool, but yeah, it's
whoever doesn't know about CS, just watch it. Like it's an emotional roller coaster. It's insane. The game is incredible. It's the best thing ever. So, and no other esport compares. Not even close. Like it's like it moves you, man. Like last night, the 1v3 clutch, like bro, I jumped out of my seat and like I felt like I was in a mosh pit for a second. Everybody was like, oh,
everyone was running around. Yeah,
bro, it was crazy.
It was. I love Counter-Strike. Like I love that we love it like that. Tico, I know Tico. You know, I hope we can go to some events with him in the future too. I know he loves it as much as we do, but we'll see. We'll see what the next. Hopefully, again, like we mentioned, we'll keep going to events and get a little more involved. But just to kind of wrap this up, because we've been talking for a minute now, been yapping. But we're officially about to pass 15 years of FaZe. They're just like, you know, I know it's hard even for me as I ask these questions. I can't really give you an answer.
Have you been in FaZe over half your life already?
Next year, I think it's actually going to be half. I joined when I was 14. I'm 28. So it sounds like it's half, but I'm turning 29 this year.
Yeah.
So next year will be my 15th year in FaZe.
Got you.
And I'll be 30.
Yeah.
That's officially half.
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy.
Yo, thank God we're able to, you know, keep up the pieces. You know what I'm saying? Thank God we're able to just like maintain this. It's like that goes to show you the level of like unity that we have, that we're able to do that. Like I was saying this in the interview yesterday. Like there was a point in time when my fiance was 4 months pregnant. FaZe was on the brink of bankruptcy, and the brand that I always imagined outliving me
was almost gone. Yeah.
Was now I'm considering like, yo, this really might be done.
Yeah.
Like, and I couldn't fathom it. I couldn't believe this might be it.
Yeah.
For FaZe.
Yeah.
And like I have a baby on the way. My fiance just kind of like came into this. She's like, hold on, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like it's a lot for her to like it was insane, man. So shout out Banks for helping pave the way with that and getting our feet back up.
100%. Yeah. It's been an insane 15 years. It's crazy to say that number. Like I said, I can't really even answer these questions, but just over the last 15 years, I know we mentioned 2011 was a very special time. What are some like other periods that are very special moments to you? Obviously, New York House, 2011.
Moments that stand out, hitting 1 million subscribers. I remember exactly where I was. Like it was 9/11. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
well, insane.
opposite feeling. But,
that is an insane.
Very opposite feeling.
Comparison, but yeah.
I feel like everyone talks about that.
No,
like,
you're right. I get your
that's
point.
That's always the analogy.
It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
New York House. I can't think of a single.
Fortnite World Cup?
Fortnite World Cup.
Fortnite World Cup was special.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fortnite World Cup was.
Boston Major?
Boston Major for sure.
Brother, I'm being sarcastic about the Boston Major. That was your favorite moment?
No, I mean, it was a monumental moment.
That was probably sucked
because
you were there.
My mom was there.
Yeah.
My hometown friends were there. It was like...
I get it. But still, yeah, that was heartbreak.
It was. Belo Horizonte when I won in front of my father.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My home state.
That's such a cool story.
Anaheim was cool. That
Early
was the
Anaheim, 2013.
First time we all met.
Yeah. What about like accomplishment wise? Like, what are your favorite accomplishments? I think
getting FaZe back. You know what I mean?
Like for me, I mentioned like, you know, I know the going public era was not something that we all are like clearly looking back. It was not really the best thing, but I still can't help but be proud of in that moment. My dad, like, I have all these memories of my dad trading stocks early in the morning or whatever, and like he was on stage to ring the bell.
Oh,
it was
cool.
such a crazy moment to get there. Although it like, you know,
full circle.
It was like a negative moment in the end.
For sure.
To me, that was like a really cool thing.
Yeah.
For you, I mean, again, you drew the logo, so I would assume to see it up with
Oh, yeah,
the
seeing-
NFL and seeing it with like
seeing on the
Disney.
skins and, like-
it was on a T-shirt with Mickey Mouse. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff must be pretty cool for you.
Murakami Beats.
Yeah.
Porsche. You know,
Yeah, those collaborations are all really cool.
done a lot of sick collaborations. That's a big one too. Just all the merch and stuff.
Well, last thing I want to say is like there was a point in time where, like we were mentioning, where we thought it was gonna disappear, where everything was really down low. Like I couldn't even wear this logo anymore.
Yeah.
Were you in that? Were you ever in that mental?
Yeah, 100%.
Like it literally like disgusted me.
I didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to see
It
it.
sucks. It really sucks, right? But thank God it's not really the case anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're still like we're not fully 100%. Like I think mentally, like
Where we
back
want
to
to
where we
be.
want, but
yeah.
we're way better, right? We're figuring it out.
It's not gone.
Yeah, it's not
FaZe is
gone.
not gone.
It's back, right?
Yeah.
So what is your not just vision, but what do you hope in the next 15 years?
Well, I'm really happy with like outside of like I love to see all these streamers come in and doing what they're doing. It's cool to see that. But in the next 15 years, I just want FaZe to be in a place where like I can feel genuinely proud of, and I know that like it's at where that I'm at where I should be with it, and that just helping build it. Like something I want to work as a lifelong project. It's always what I've envisioned.
Yeah.
And so it would feel like I failed my mission if I'm not doing that. I don't really care to do anything else aside from being a dad and a husband. You know what I mean? Like that's really it, man. I just want to like help it evolve as much as possible. I want to help refine. Like I want like us to have like the coolest clothes possible. So like I'm gonna keep working on that. Work on different products and stuff too. Help build out that whole. I'm just scratching the surface. Like where you just saw like the new merch and stuff. Like that's really only 2 products.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
cool. I'm hoping. I don't know. Maybe it's not your vision, but Cairo, your son, I want him to be the first, second generation FaZe member.
That would be sick.
Like
Yeah.
I want him to literally. I could see him being a CS pro or something. I know you're like you want him to be a soccer player, understandably,
or basketball.
but I want to see Cairo as a CS pro joining FaZe.
That would be crazy.
That's
man.
gonna happen.
Yeah,
Watch,
yeah.
15 years. Mark more. High Sky joined at 11. Why not Cairo?
What happens? Whatever. At the end of the day, whatever he wants to do.
I know. I just imagine FaZe Temperr's son is a pro. I think that's the coolest thing ever. But
Like taking over Pride Rock type.
Simba, give it to him, Mufasa.
I always wanted a brother.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. I think this was like 2 hours. Every FaZe member, it can't be under 2 hours. It feels like when I talk to you guys,
It's tough, bro.
it's tough. I have to
Yeah.
literally cut us off because we got one more thing to film, the 20 questions video.
Yeah,
Then
all good. I get
Preston
it.
Play is gonna come. These
Yeah.
guys need to eat. So
Yeah.
thank you for coming. Thank you for making the time while we're in Dallas. I got you waking up a little early today.
All good. All good.
I know you're trying to get that extra sleep since you don't have your son with you,
Nah,
but
it's okay. It's
but
all
I
good.
appreciate it. It was nice to finally get this episode with you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure talking with you. It's been awesome seeing you again.
I
You know
know.
what I mean? It's been so long.
I know it has, but I'm
excited
very
to see
happy.
you in
I'm very happy
Austin.
you're in Indiana
Yeah.
and you're happy.
Thank you, brother.
And I'll see you at some events in the future. And
Austin for sure. You know what I
awesome.
mean?
Yeah, see you next month.
That'd be great.
Yes,
That's
sir.
like in a couple weeks or something like that.
Yeah, it's right after my birthday. Literally my
June
birthday
20th.
weekend. Yeah, 29 years old, brother.
You and my dad share the same birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and you're August 25th.
My guy.
I love you.
Love you, man.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, up, brother. We'll
Shout-
see. We'll do this again in 10 years. We'll
Shout
see
out
where-
the editor for cutting up all the parts where you're not feeling too good.
Yeah, that's my goat right there.
Go see a doctor and get
I will.
a real doctor.
I will. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, man.